watching golf tournaments and rooting for guys to make bogeys. I like guys going out and battling back and forth and making good shots. And Schauffele with the 4 straight birdies was neat to watch, but the having to root against Hideki Matsuyama yesterday wasn't a whole lot of fun. And I'm kind of with you. It took a lot of the excitement out of what was developing for a while there into a really good tournament with a lot of names involved. Right up there at the top, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, both right there, heavily involved. Justin Rose, and then man, you get the rain delay on Saturday afternoon. Storms roll through, course changes, leaderboard significantly changes, and the tournament was never the same. Tim, are you with us now? We got us a Tim Hill.
I am happy. That was Hideki Matsuyama's first comment about the cabin. I was like, oh boy, here we go. That's all he's going to be saying. We're the translator? That's all we're getting? I am happy to be back with you guys. But I'm with you. Yesterday was a bit of a bummer from a golf drama standpoint. Yet, Patrick, I heard you mention the triple bogey was 1,040 holes, I think, was how many that Xander Schauffele had played in major championship golf without a triple bogey. And then you get that on 16. And I get the narrative, right? You said he hit it well. He just played the wrong shot. Okay, I guess. He went into like upper level golf, explaining that thing in the post round interview about the left to right and into the wind. I should have played the right. And I hit it how I wanted to. Okay, but it sure looked like you choked to me. If you just woke up today and say, oh, it was a one-shot win at the Masters, what an amazing weekend. Yeah, not quite. And I thought Schauffele put it perfect, talking about Matsuyama being almost robot-like most of the day, and that's what it was kind of like. So that was a bit of a bummer for sure, I think, for those of us who like the job.
Even because the last 2 holes, he knew he just needed a couple 4s, and he wasn't even putting to make putts. He was putting to just get it close and not fall apart. Like, that's what I hate, when it's just you have such a lead. And what was he, like 4 feet, 5 feet the first putt on 18, and just puts it like a foot away and taps it in. Like, he wasn't even trying. He was just trying to get it close so that he wouldn't screw up.
Did both of you guys finish the tournament?
Yeah.
I just discovered that he shot 10 under. When Schauffele made double or triple, excuse me, I left and came on home and got some dinner and called it a day. And then I think right before I went to bed, flipped on the news and they had a picture of Matsuyama holding his arms raised on 18. I was like, yep, all right, he did what I expected him to do. He finished it up. And so I think as we opened the program, I think I said he shot 12 under. I just realized he shot 10 under. I didn't watch the end because it was such – and again, I'm sitting there pooling, and I don't like watching golf this way unless it's just somebody you really, really don't like. And as we went into on Friday, Patrick, I'm not as anti-Patrick Reed as some people are out there. So I don't know if there's a villain on the tour that I'm necessarily pooling against. So there's not really anybody that I would say would be in that position for me to go like, man, I really want to see this person fail on Sunday at the Masters and blow a lead. And, Hideki Matsuyama, it's like vanilla pudding. It's just plain. There's nothing there. Like Tim said, the interview wasn't going to be all that great. Like, just was what it was, and but I still didn't like pulling against him to fail to make it fun to watch.
I'm with you on that. I get it, and it's hard. It's hard to both like and not like Hideki Matsuyama from my perspective because it doesn't do very much. And I appreciate, I understand the narrative, right? He had the whole country on his shoulders and a lot of pressure being the first major champion born in Japan, and it's going to be great for golf and grow the game, and he might be worth $1 billion one day. I get all of that, but I just think from our selfish golf fan perspective, not quite what we are looking for from the Masters perspective. If you're looking for a little bit more interaction and drama, maybe Founders Park was your place for the weekend, even though it was Missouri, which is at the bottom of the SEC totem pole, I think, when you're talking about baseball rivalries or just baseball pedigree in the SEC. You got some interesting stuff over the weekend, including a message from athletics director Ray Tanner on Saturday night. He puts out on Twitter about the home field advantage and apparently students getting kicked out, and then shift in how security personnel handling the crowd there. We'll let you hear from Mark Kingston about the home field advantage that his team has and hopes to continue to enjoy, and taking 2 out of 3 against Mizzou over the weekend. Shane Beamer coming up as well, first scrimmage of the Beamer era. So we'll talk a little Gamecock football, and then the Frank Martin situation finally resolved. I know you guys, I was off all last week, but this was after your Friday morning show, correct? Officially, the Board of Trustees? Okay. And you got some Gamecock basketball transfers coming in as well. Bill, what do you make of the news coming down officially after our last show on Friday about Frank Martin getting a 2-year extension with Gamecock basketball and more influx or flux around the program as far as personnel-wise?
Yeah, we touched on it last week a little bit, and obviously on Friday, Patrick and I both, I think late in the program, kind of touched on it, just said, hey, we expect a resolution. We knew the Board of Trustees was meeting later that afternoon at some point to ratify some contract. I think it was athletic contract agreements that was the technical term, the way they had it listed. So you knew something was coming. And, look, all I'll say at this point is you've got clarity on the situation. The roster is working its way out right now. There's five guys, known guys coming in, 5 known guys coming in, 3 signees, Jacoby Wright, Devin Carter, and Daquan Woodley, 2 transfers at the moment, A.J. Wilson and Chico Carter. And at the moment, we know of 4 guys leaving the program. Now, Patrick and I did discuss a little bit that we're still a little surprised. I think maybe what we discussed a little bit more that's just kind of interesting is that of all the guys that have announced, 6 guys in total, 2 declaring for the NBA draft, A.J. Lawson's the one guy who we thought for sure would be testing the NBA waters or doing something, and we haven't heard from him just yet. So, but you do start to have some clarity on the direction of the program and what it'll look like in 21, 22 going into next year. So that, I think, is the big thing. That's what I take away now, is some clarity, some stability at least. You don't have to like it. I'm not trying to convince anybody how great it's going to be or that it's time to rally and everything, but at least you now know what it's going to be.
And I think a third transfer, you got the news maybe late last night, coming in from the University of Washington, guard by the name of Eric Stevenson, deciding on the Gamecock for BYU and Jens Butler program as well. That's according to Jeff Goodman. I think the latest news there, and the latest Major League Baseball news. Last night, quite the controversy with the Braves and touching the plate or not touching the plate and instant replay in Major League Baseball. We'll get into that, let you hear some of what was said there too. An embarrassment is what at least one Brave called the replay situation last night. The Philadelphia Phillies get the 7-6 win, and Braves not happy about that. So we've got tons to discuss as usual on a Monday after the Masters. Patrick, you've got, what is that, hole number 12 you got there? You got the Amen Corner and the bridge.
Trying to figure out how to work the green screen on the live stream.
Yeah, it's almost working. Not bad.
I think I need to be out of the shot and then pull it up and then jump back into the shot. I'm going to try it and break.
All right, all kinds of gymnastics going on from Patrick there. You can follow him on Twitter at _Patrick Perrette. Our live video stream sponsored by Buford Lending. Bill Gunter on Twitter is at Will Gunter with 1L. I'm at Tim Hill 1075. Jen is at Jen Jensen Morse. Holding things down, back also after a week off last week, producing from the studios at the Hideki Matsuyama studios in downtown Columbia. We're off to some kind of start here. Glad to see DC, Craig, LeVar, and Travis off early with us on the live video chat. Feel free to find us on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, or on Twitter at the station handle at 1075 The Game. You're listening to the early game. That was a good one, Travis, for sure.
You need a mortgage guru. I'm telling you right now, interest rates still up. There's still a golden opportunity for you. If you're looking to refinance your existing mortgage, or if you're looking to make a purchase and buy a new home, now is the time to do it. But you need a mortgage guru, and that would be one Jacob Crowder with First Palmetto Bank. He and Brian Kovar are helping people save $200, $300, $400 a month. Kovar joining the team to help Jacob out, to help you out. They want to help more people out, get into a great financial situation with their mortgage, whether it's your pre-existing mortgage and refinancing, whether it's purchasing a new home, now is the time to do that. 803-719-1005. You can email him the letter J, Crowder, CROWDER at firstpalmetto.com. Don't wait around. Give him a phone call today. 803-719-1005. That's Jacob Crowder, the mortgage guru with First Palmetto Bank.
Oh, looking good, Patrick.
It's not. Oh shoot! I didn't even realize I left it there. It's not going to work because I don't have a green screen.
You don't have it. You need a green screen behind you.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That'd be cool though.
I wonder. Well, I wonder. I've got this white wall right behind me. I'm not going to try it right now. How are you doing that?
You got the camera mic button. Just put green screen. I've never gone into those settings before.
Oh, you uploaded a background, huh?
Yeah.
How does it look?
You can't see anything. You got to change the fade up. See how there's a fade bar?
Yeah, I don't see. And now I just disappeared?
Yep, now you're gone.
Beautiful.
There's like a real close area where you can at least be in the shot.
Yeah.
I think it's around like the 52 range. 53 maybe?
Yeah, we'll give up on that already.
Do you guys see this? That Travis mentioned, the guy at Southern Cal?
I saw that. I saw, and then not. Actually, there is the Gus Malzahn story and what UCF did this weekend. Did you see that?
The
Yeah.
Twitter handles on the jerseys?
Yeah.
Yesterday's game was weird. I didn't see a lot of weirdness yesterday. I saw some domination. Was weird the fan situation. Did you guys see any of that yesterday?
Yeah.
I didn't. We had a double header in soccer. I was gone from 1 o'clock to 4:30 before I was able to kind of check stuff on my phone, but I didn't really get to see anything. I got to the restaurant around 4:30ish, 4:45ish to be able to watch the kind of the back nine.
Man.
Thank you, LeVar. Good to be back, my friend. Good to be back.
Let me go check. I was trying to get something. Let me check on coffee this morning. The coffee situation here.
Yeah, you shouldn't be able to, but when you dominate like you dominated, man. So how did the week overall go, Patrick?
Good. We were all over the place.
All right, we got just the 2 breaks this hour.
Cool.
Jim, let's go with number 2, please. Not anything she heard. Jen, can we go with number 2 coming back, please? Thank you. Number 2.
Apparently there's a good chance that Jadeveon Clowney is going to sign with the Browns today.
Wow. Not the best trip, Travis. Had the kids got a little sickly on us, and so not the best trip, but pretty good weather actually. Not the worst. Don't want to complain.
5.
Across the line, but home field advantage is key. Best league home field advantage.
That's Carolina baseball coach Mark Kingston. After taking 2 out of 3 against Missouri over the weekend, the Gamecocks improved to 8-4 in conference play, tied for the 4th best record. There are 3 teams at the top in the SEC overall at 9-3. But the Gamecocks in great company at 8-4, I believe. Maybe Arkansas and Ole Miss, the other 2 teams in the SEC standings. We'll update that for you in just a second. Wanted to get into specifically what Mark Kingston is discussing about the home field advantage first. Yesterday it was between the 7th and 8th inning. I think there was a bit of an issue, and Mark Kingston explaining it in the post-game media meeting with the media. The Zoom call there said it was just umpires trying to figure out what their role was, security trying to figure out what their role was, and it was interesting for sure, especially for a game that wasn't very competitive. Didn't have any very dramatic moments, close calls, anything like that, other than the usual balls and strikes. Mike Morgan was doing the game for the SEC Network, and he kind of put it in that perspective as well as he was talking about it. But Ray Tanner on Saturday night put up a statement on Twitter. I've had a discussion with my staff. Everyone understands that we want Founders Park to have a home field advantage with a family atmosphere. Nobody will be removed for appropriate heckling. And then in parentheses, don't get profane/vulgar. Let's have some fun tomorrow and win the series over Mizzou. So in the big picture, it was taking 2 out of 3 against Missouri, staying on track in the SEC for Gamecock baseball. When you zoom in, you get this odd situation of reported ejections on Saturday from security staff being overly, I don't even know what the way to put it is, Bill, overly strict on heckling, I think, from the crowd, or limiting any kind of interaction just addressed towards the opposing teams. Then you have that response from Ray Tanner. Then you had a little incident yesterday on the field that caused a slight delay that was, I guess, no real big deal. It was just kind of odd. And then the Gamecocks responded with 5 runs and ended up blowing out Missouri yesterday. It was really an odd weekend in that way. It was kind of a blowout win for Mizzou on Friday night. And then the Gamecocks went 11-1 on Saturday to even up the series, and then win going away yesterday as well when the game was close relatively early on. It was a 3-run shot from Brady Allen in the 5th inning on Saturday that really changed the tone of the weekend. They got the Gamecocks going. Bill, what do you make of the Founders Park home field advantage and the statement released by Ray Tanner, what you heard from Mark Kingston there?
Well, I think the first thing that stands out is we're good friends. You're really good friends with him. We're good friends with him. He's been around. But Stuart Lake, who's a pretty laid-back guy, at least the times I've dealt with him, also getting into it with the Missouri Tigers there in the bottom of the 8th inning yesterday. And the reason I start with that is because if he's doing that, it leads me to believe at least that more of this might be on Missouri and the way things went down yesterday than it is on students or fans or Stuart Lake or South Carolina. Like, it did seem Missouri was a little, I don't know what's the word. What do I want to use here? Chirpy on Friday night when they picked up a big win. They seemed a little full of themselves, and I don't think that they had a problem letting someone or anyone know that they were there to try and win the series. The problem is and then this is just the problem when you have 20-25% capacity. There's not a ton of noise around to filter out what you hear. So if you've got a Missouri player chirping with someone in the stands, and that player's trying to that fan is chirping back. Maybe they have a few of the Founders Park beverages, and they're a little bit louder than normal. You don't have the full capacity to drown them out like you normally would. So baseball is what you guys would agree. Baseball is the quietest sport, right? Out of basketball, football, like the lulls, the opportunity to let the crowd die down for a minute, be able to yell something and be heard. I think we've joked about the guy that sits in the middle of the stands at a football game and yells at the coach or the player or the opposing team and thinks that they're going to hear him. Baseball's a little bit more intimate than that, right? And we have seen this. It's not to say we haven't seen it. We've seen it a lot in courtside actions in basketball, right? The NBA. Think back, was it Russell Westbrook a year ago or 2 years ago, I guess, where we saw some interaction between fans having courtside seats and players. I think
LeBron kicked out the young girl.
Yeah,
courtside care.
Woman.
Don't forget courtside care.
Courtside care. That's what it was.
So all I'm saying is, to me, when I see one of South Carolina's coaches that I'll go to bat for here and say he's a pretty laid back guy. I know he's probably competitive between the lines, but when he gets into it with some of the Missouri players, I tend to go, okay, who's the common denominator here? It seems to be the Missouri baseball team.
Well, if it just had been that, and you hadn't have gotten fans complaining on Saturday about students getting kicked out unnecessarily, and then you have a response from the athletic director / former baseball coach about a home field advantage and addressing the staff and the whole thing, then I'm with you. Then it's just a baseball deal. This is more of a larger environment question, and especially Chris just hit us up. Anybody watch the Ole Miss game? Looked like 100%. Did you guys see it? Looked like 100% capacity. He said that was one of the best baseball scenes that I've ever seen. On Saturday, I believe it was a home run shot to right field, and it was like a water cannon goes off. It was just beer everywhere. Well, and it was a big-time series, number 2 versus number 3, Ole Miss and Arkansas. And it was at Swayze Field at Ole Miss, where it looks like they've removed all restrictions, and everybody's there.
They said, I saw a tweet from them, Tim, that, and I'll go back and see if I can find it, because I can't remember if it was the Friday-Saturday crowd or the Saturday-Sunday. Can't remember when I saw the tweet, either last night or Saturday afternoon. The 4th and 5th largest crowds ever at Swayze Field is what they were saying. So that tells me that there's no capacity limits there in Mississippi for that.
Right, which is new. I think this is recently kind of removed. 18-14 was the score yesterday. Arkansas a winner. And I guess it was 14-14 going into the 8th inning. Arkansas scores the last 4 runs in that game, in that series, I should say, to get the win on Sunday. But it was, I think Ole Miss took the first 2 games in that series, or at least the Saturday game. But I think that's the question moving forward. And Mark Kingston was asked about it, and he said, well, that's not really my deal. I want as many people to come as can come, and I hope if the tickets are available, everybody shows up because it's a fun team to watch. And that's what I saw over the weekend. I guess maybe, Bill, you had mentioned that a sweep was kind of on deck for Gamecock baseball, something that they could definitely use going into yet another ridiculously tough gauntlet now with the SEC season. We got 6 series left to play after 12 games now. But taking 2 out of 3 and bouncing back after not playing well on Friday was big for Gamecock baseball, staying on track and not losing a step. You lose 1 game in a series, it happens. But the way that Carolina bounced back was the impressive part to me, along with this, it's not impressive, the really notable story, I guess, coming out of Founders Park over the weekend about the home field advantage.
Yeah, I mean, just going back to what I was saying on Friday, look, because of the remaining series, because this was a home series, because Missouri is the worst team in the SEC. I think they were 10-17, I believe, coming in, 3-6 in conference play. I was just saying this would be a series that you need to sweep, but don't take it the wrong way. Losing 1 game, winning the series, I wasn't going to come in here this morning and say, what a disappointing weekend. That's a failure. No, they still won the series. It's fine. South Carolina keeps a lot of momentum. I mean, look at Vanderbilt. They get demolished by Georgia on Friday and Saturday night. So there's no shame in losing a game in baseball like that. You run into a hot pitcher, something happens. South Carolina wins the series. I think Patrick and I talked about momentum in baseball last week while you were gone for a little bit, winning 2 of 3, winning the Saturday, Sunday games in Athens to kind of build momentum. Obviously, they lost the Tuesday night game. But yeah, there's no shame there in losing the way they did on Friday night, then bouncing back and blasting Missouri on Saturday and Sunday.
So impressive bounce-back performance on the weekend, doing it in a lot of different ways. I think Brady Allen, Andrew Eister, guys who you would expect to kind of lead the way, maybe outside of Wes Clark not hitting a ridiculous amount of home runs. doing the job for Gamecock baseball and staying on track now to continue to be in a place to host a regional game or possibly a super regional round. You know, baseball's going to do it a little different this year, that they're not going to wait until the season is finished to announce those sites because of COVID implications. So something to keep in mind as the college baseball season rolls on. College basketball, the big news coming out after our last show on Friday about Frank Martin. It's not a surprise, I guess, really kind of coming to a conclusion as I see it, his situation, where he had 2 years left on his contract. It was a $6.5 million buyout, and the program was really at a crossroads. I think that's how you put it, Bill, and it clearly was. It looks from the outside looking in like it could have very well gone either way. That it seemed like the USC administration was kind of weighing its options and weighing whether Frank Martin was going to continue on into season number 10 and into the next decade, basically, of his tenure after a 6-15 season last year, after not gone to the NCAA tournament outside of the 2017 run to the Final Four. And now the player personnel issues with a lot of guys declaring for the NBA draft or just heading out of the program. Bill, what did you have the numbers at again from the player standpoint? You got 5 guys.
So it's
3 guys in. Is that what it is?
What I've got is 6 guys in now. I forgot about Eric Stevenson yesterday. That would slip my mind as I was talking earlier. A good shooter, scored 19 points against South Carolina when he was at Wichita State 2 years ago, I believe is what it was. They played that game against Greg Marshall's team in a tournament and ended up losing that one in the first game, then lost to Northern Iowa in the second game. But Eric Stevenson, a pretty good shooter. I think interesting addition to the team. But 6 guys now, 3 transfers: Stevenson, A.J. Wilson, and Chico Carter. So, again, A.J. Wilson, to me, I think Patrick said a little bit more skilled. Justin Minaya, but looks like a guy who will kind of play that role. Carter expected to be more of a point guard, and Eric Stevenson will play an off guard. And then you've got 3 freshmen set to come in right now in Jacoby Wright, Devin Carter, and Taquan Woodley. On the flip side of that, it looks like you've got 4 guys exiting the program. There may be a 5th, maybe there's a 6th. I don't know. We'll continue to monitor that situation. And then 2 guys that have put their name in the NBA draft and certainly could choose to enter the transfer portal or go try their hand at playing basketball overseas or get into the G League in Cousinard and Keyshawn Bryant. And
Justin Minaya was the last one that I saw. Did that go down before you guys were done on Friday?
No, we talked about it.
That was a lot earlier in the week. Yeah, he was.
Okay.
Minaya was he again enters his name in the portal, but also will at least get some feedback on NBA talents, I guess. So I'm guessing he'll either go to Europe next year or find a team to transfer to. And then over the weekend, I guess, or maybe Friday, maybe the other news was Trey Hannibal committing to Murray State. So they tells us one school where one guy's going, Murray State for Trey Hannibal.
So that's the Gamecock basketball situation. From the football perspective, first scrimmage in the Shane Beamer era. We'll let you hear some of what he had to say. My big takeaway was seems pretty pleased right now. And Luke Doty, I think for the first time, Shane Beamer really kind of commenting on some separation about where he is compared to the other quarterbacks. It's not a surprise necessarily, but just to me, it was almost an admission that, yeah, Luke Doty's the guy right now, and everybody else is kind of chasing him. And from what they saw in the scrimmage over the weekend, that just only affirmed that Luke Doty will be the starting quarterback moving forward. At least that's kind of how I took Shane Beamer's comments. Bill, what about you coming out of the first scrimmage of the Beamer era?
Yeah, I don't know how people feel about it, but I mean, I think because of what happened last year with the expectation that it would be Ryan Helinski's job, and then you get Colin Hill, I think everybody maybe a little scarred, maybe a little worried. Not that Jason Brown can't do the job, but when you see a freshman quarterback, and Luke Doty struggled, but he only played 3 games. Patrick's kind of talked about it. I've talked about it. Didn't get the whole spring last year to really develop. Didn't get an opportunity to really develop in the fall because he was moved to wide receiver. Then gets kind of thrown back in the quarterback position to see and hear about his development, and now separating. I think maybe that makes people feel a little bit better that one of these highly thought of freshman quarterbacks that Will Muschamp brought in, that Brian McClendon or Kurt Roper or Dan Werner, whoever they brought in, maybe is actually going to get a chance to develop and be a quarterback and not just kind of be moved to the back of the line like Helinski was last year. So we'll see what happens with Doty, but I think you definitely feel a little bit better about that and maybe get a little excited to see him in the coming spring game here, less than 2 weeks away now.
And it is a unique situation around Gamecock football for sure that Shane Beamer and the new coaching staff dealing with from a depth perspective. A lot of guys, like most programs, on the sideline, not participating in spring ball, but the numbers, I think, even at a different place for this coaching staff. Let you hear what Shane Beamer had to say about that right now as we head to our break here, the last one in hour number one. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game. It's trying to do 4 here.
What an extremely busy weekend. A golf tournament to watch, baseball to take in. We even had Austin's soccer doubleheader yesterday. And today I've got to be in a golf tournament. To do all those things, I need a great night of sleep. And if your life is just as busy, and I'm sure it is, you need a great night of sleep. That's exactly what I get with a Sleep Number bed. Put that Sleep Number setting on 60. Wake up rested, refreshed, ready to tackle whatever today's challenges are. Today it is playing in a golf tournament over at the Country Club of Lexington. Right now, proven quality sleep is indeed life-changing sleep. Don't miss the weekend special. Save 25% on the new Sleep Number 360 C4 Smart Bed and FlexFit Smart Adjustable Base. But that ends today. So that means while I'm playing in a golf tournament, you need to go check out Sleep Number. Special financing is available, subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See sleepnumber.com for details. 2 stores to choose from to go visit today. One in Irmo, Harvison Boulevard across from Buffalo Wild Wings. The other in Columbia, 2 Notch Road across from Sand Hills Mall. You can visit them on the web, sleepnumber.com. Again, the weekend special. It ends today, but right now you can save 25% on the new Sleep Number 360 C4 Smart Bed and FlexFit Smart Adjustable Base. Again, you need to make the switch. Make the switch to Sleep Number today and find out what a great night's sleep is truly like.
It's odd, Patrick. I'm guessing because you are on and controlling things. It's got you popped up in the top right on mine today after last week. Usually it would have Bill in that spot.
Oh.
You like the red background, the red font a little better?
The bubbles? Yeah. We actually got some good reviews on the bubbles.
Oh, yeah? Big fan? Big fans?
Isn't that what somebody said on Friday, Bill? As soon as Tim comes back, the first thing he's going to do is get rid of the bubbles?
Yeah. That was the consensus, is that the changes that we made to the program, the first one you would change back would be the bubble.
I almost hit the button already this morning. That's pretty accurate. Okay, I think I've gone there, right?
Yeah, that's what it usually is, I think.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, Bill, did you get out the Top Golf?
3 times.
3 times. Wow.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
So you already reviewed it on the show then, I'm guessing?
Patrick, did we talk about it on Friday?
You did, yeah.
A little bit. It got better. If I didn't talk about it on Friday, it's because Thursday night it wasn't very good. I didn't have a good time. Some of it, I talked to a guy on Saturday that's out there running. They said those kind of events, the way they do them, because of the lighting during the day, because the Friday, Saturday, I went at 2 and 2:30. The ball picks up on the radar much better, and it's easier to score, or for the score to pop up behind you on the little computer. So it was a lot better. on Friday and Saturday than it was Thursday night.
Gotcha.
I've also overfilled my beer quota for the next 3 years by having to drink beer there. So we're good on that.
3 years, huh? All right.
I think I had 4 beers in 3 days. 'Cause I got the big, tall, sweet waters. So I think we've maxed those out now.
Did you guys see the text in about the failure to comply? What are they calling this thing?
Yeah.
A code of conduct.
I saw it on Twitter because there wasn't positive reinforcement for the refs
Right.
or the umps, I guess I should say. Baseball.
Support the players, coaches, and officials in a positive manner.
Yeah, I saw that. It really was a busy weekend because Saturday I did the Top Golf at 2:30 in the middle of the day. Friday I did the Top Golf at 2 o'clock in the middle of the day. And then yesterday we had the soccer all day. I'm kind of ready we got one more weekend of soccer, and then I'm kind of ready. That reminds me, Tim, we need to, at the end of the show, just make sure we know exactly, because that's 2 weekends from this past weekend, the spring game. I think you've got a plan, but
Yep.
we'll also rehash two important topics that people wanted Patrick and I discussed last week.
Nice. We do 4 coming back, Jen?
Thank you. Hand signals may help.
Hand signals always help.
Oh, trust me.
I know.
Right away.
Morning, Josh.
Five.
Shane Beamer, after the first scrimmage of the Beamer era over the weekend, part of a busy weekend from the Gamecock perspective that included the Frank Martin news coming out Friday about him getting a 2-year extension and some more transfer coming into the program, guys heading out of the program as well. So player personnel flux there, and then Gamecock baseball taking 2 out of 3 against Missouri and a home field advantage discussion coming out of that. But let's stick with football for just a second. And what do you make of what you just heard from Shane Beamer? To me, this is kind of the natural result of a head coaching change a lot of times. And then also just the extreme nature of what happened to Will Muschamp and Terrence Robbins' defense at the end of the run. That it was, I don't think we'll ever get a good explanation of what happened. I don't know about you guys, especially when you see J.C. Horn testing as well as he has in this pre-draft process and going to be a high draft pick. There was some personnel there. There just wasn't much production defensively for the Gamecocks in the last year. So now Shane Beamer and company moving forward with what they have and kind of making do in their first spring practice is what I heard. Bill, what about you?
Yeah, I feel like, Tim, you were in town, I think, when Steve Spurrier took over, and I feel like this was something similar with him in the spring, trying to find bodies to fill out a roster during the spring before you get more recruits owned to campus. Obviously, South Carolina didn't take a ton of high school recruits, and so that does limit some of the bodies that you have. You got to continue to build up the walk-on program. We did see that a little bit this offseason with a bunch of preferred walk-ons that'll be coming into the program, and that's how you fill out kind of your third team. So I don't think it's too much to worry about. Certainly during the spring, you want to give everybody a chance. So I don't put too much stock into it from the standpoint of it's something to be worried about. You'll get a bunch more guys in here at the end of what I guess the end of May when they start the summer session, and the numbers will be okay. It's maybe the good news is you hear this, it means Luke Doty or a guy like Jordan Birch or a guy like Cam Smith, who I don't think actually practiced on Saturday or was a part of the scrimmage. But O'Donnell Fortune or some of these younger guys are getting a chance to get more reps, which is what they need because they're going to be a big part of the team this coming season.
So it will be a matter of, I guess, continuing to evaluate how much of this is the natural result of a coaching change. And then, all right, when do you get concerned, I think, from the Gamecock perspective? Don't want to overstate things in spring practice after one scrimmage, but I think that's something that we probably won't be able to evaluate maybe until, game 3 or 4 next season. Is that fair? Going into what is a couple of non-conference games to start the season in Eastern Illinois and East Carolina, and then you really get things going with the SEC season starting after that. Is that where you're at, Patrick, or are you ready to evaluate and say, hey, this is going to be an issue?
No, I don't think the secondary is a concern. I don't know how you're supposed to evaluate the secondary. Like, you combine the fact that you didn't have bodies, and basically, I think probably in that scrimmage, Jalen Foster's the only person who's played meaningful snaps that actually participated in that from a secondary perspective, combined with what Torian Gray was saying. I think we played a little bit of it on the show last week, but they asked him, like, what have you seen from the secondary? And he basically just said 100 times, yeah, we're very green. And they asked him to basically break down particular guys and what he's seen from them. And he just said, like, yeah, they're trying. They just need to get better, And I was like, oh, yikes. The defensive line better play really well so you could just put 7 guys in coverage in every single play. And you combine that with now there's not even bodies. Like, I don't know how you can have many expectations for the secondary right now, and there's just straight up not enough guys. We talked about how there's 17 or whatever wide receivers last week, and couldn't be more opposite in the secondary.
Shane Beamer saying that a recent walk-on to the program, had worked his way into working with the second team, for instance, over the weekend in their scrimmage. That's where the depth is from a secondary perspective. The other end of a depth conversation is the wide receiver position, where I believe there are 18 guys listed at that position for the Gamecocks right now. And you heard Shane Beamer before we went to our last break talking about how those guys have heard. They're human. They've heard the conversation about the lack of production last year from anybody not named Shi Smith, and he's been impressed with that group moving forward. And that's where it's always a conundrum for me to try to evaluate anything out of spring football practice from a head coach in his perceptions of things, because if you're looking good on one side of the ball, doesn't that mean, well, you're doing it against the guys on the other side of the ball? And I think that's the going to be the difficult part for this coaching staff moving forward as well. How do you evaluate a position that clearly underperformed last year and needs improvement against a position group that you have that obviously there's not much production returning right now? There are guys injured and there are depth issues and the whole thing. Bill, what do you make of Shane Beamer being pleased with his wide receiver position so far in spring practice?
Well, let's do this. Let's just give the number right now. What I've got, and I'm counting Jalen Foster in this, even though he was on walk-on. You're hoping for what I think, guys, is going to be 10. I feel like I'm leaving one guy off, but I've got 10 scholarship defensive backs that South don't have. Cam Smith, O'Donnell Fortune, Dominic Hill, who's out with an injury, and Joey Hunter. That's 4. And Jalen Foster technically returning from last year. Am I leaving anybody out real quick?
Are we just doing corners?
Safeties, corners. You're basically anybody can go back there and cover somebody.
Well, RJ Roderick. RJ Roderick, you're leaving out.
Jalen Dickerson.
Roderick and Dickerson. Thank you. I knew I was leaving. I was doing this very, very quickly here, and Dickerson once again hasn't been practicing. But that would take him as well.
Cam Smith with a bit of an injury. So
Cam Smith, and then you got.
How'd you get to 10? You didn't mention 10.
Okay, so that's 4 returning, but Roderick and Dickerson make it 6. You've got 4 transfers or junior college prospects: Isaiah Norris and Marcellus Dial, both junior college prospects. Marcellus Dial currently here. Norris will be here in the summer. David Spalding transferring in. He's here. Carlins Platel is not. That'll be 4 transfers into the program. That'll take you to 10. And then you've got Jalen.
Darius Rush a scholarship player?
He is a scholarship player. Is he back at defensive?
I thought he was back.
Where he's at?
I don't know. He's been bouncing all over the place. I thought he was playing.
I don't know where he's at, so you do have some bodies. I think again, this goes to what Tim was just saying. This is why I'm starting with the defensive back very quickly here. You're going to have some bodies. You got to get some of these guys healthy. Wide receiver. I'll be honest, man. I don't care if it's the 4 of us out there in the secondary. A lot of those wide receivers need confidence. They're beaten down right now. And so as long as they're making some plays, Josh Vann, I think, just needs to have me out there where he can whip me up and down the field just to build confidence in himself right now after some drops, after some issues he's had the first 3 years. I think just building confidence, even if it's against questionable talent right now, might be Josh Stepp's number one goal, and then narrowing down out of that group that this become confident in their ability, who can make plays.
Solid gas baggy hot take, Bill. That was number 1. Not bad at all. Good to be back with you guys after a week off last week. John hits us up on Twitter, says, top of the morning to everybody. Just want to give a huge shout out and thanks for the tickets to Top Golf Live. What a truly cool and awesome experience. Glad the whole crew is back safely. And then John weighing in on some baseball. I said, fun yesterday at Founders Park, not defending anyone in particular, but at times in the past, there have been inappropriate gestures or things said by the opposing team, so it's not always the fan. Heckling is an art form of passion, and it goes both ways. And by the way, he says the Braves got host. I can't figure out what was going on. Why have replay? If you on replay show a guy touching the plate, you don't overturn it. It's weird. Fortunately, we got 2 more hours to talk.
And we got to talk NASCAR. Anybody see who won the race in our pick'em?
Oh, no.
So basically, the only time you care about NASCAR is if you're winning. You don't really care about the race. Is that what I'm gleaning?
Yeah, exactly right.
Okay. Blaney and I are going to have a conversation as to why he had to run over that hose, but,
It's a shame.
Yeah.
All right. I feel like Jen, you guys get a lot of catching up to do with all the
a lot of feedback.
Got to fill them in on your week, what you've been doing.
No, you don't care about what we're doing. You just want to say, hey, I won in the NASCAR picks this week.
Already did that.
Okay, good. Then I have to hear it again.
Currently, I'm going to go take a quick bathroom break.
Speaking of that, didn't even stop on our way to the Outer Banks. So we already had it planned out because we got the little dude and then the 8 and 6 year old. We threw them in the old hotel pool. We're going to stop a little bit after Raleigh. We made it all the way.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a heck of a start. We didn't stop once on the way there. And then we got there and some of the other cousins were a little under the weather, and that got our guys under the weather, and that's what you're hearing now, and it was one of those.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
But you didn't have to do chores at home.
What's that?
You didn't have to do any chores at home. So that's a plus.
It's true. And beautiful at the Outer Banks. Just a little not quite warm enough. I know it was like 86 degrees here, but it was like 70, 75-ish there. Okay. Not quite warm enough to enjoy the ocean so much.
Yeah, that part would stink.
Oh, wow. Travis Matthews outlet, Myrtle Beach. Good to know, David. Good to know. Oh, yeah, I did play golf and barely broke 100. So there's that. Nags Head Golf Club. Difficult, little breezy. It was actually pretty calm that day, but right on the water. Oh, Whitney. So did you watch a bunch of the Masters, Patrick? And that increased your golf bitterness?
No, Sunday. Only Sunday.
Only Sunday? But
yeah.
You watched a lot of it yesterday? Because there wasn't much to watch, man.
Yeah, well, I was just stuck in studio. But I didn't watch it all, really. What is echoing? That's really bad.
What's that? Echoing?
Yeah.
When I hit.
Maybe that's better. Yeah. This was a problem with the Luke Day interview, too, because what was the deal? He was on his phone, but there was an echo because his speaker was still on his computer. So I told him, hey, we got an echo. And instead of turning the volume on his computer off, he turned his microphone off. He muted his microphone as well. So then people couldn't hear him. So I had to turn it up in the speaker in the producer's room before we finally figured it out.
Fun.
I hear you, Travis.
That's the radio version.
So how did the doubleheader go yesterday, Bill?
We won the first one 7-1, and the second one we tied 2-2. Austin had a chance for the game-winning goal late. I don't think he could have made the play. It was a pretty line drive shot across the field, and he tried to get his leg up, just couldn't. That's a tough play for him, but he was kind of down about it. He missed that. He missed another. That was a tough play. I don't think he could have made that one, but he missed that one. Then he had another kind of tough shot on goal that he couldn't get on balance. So he kind of missed two shots there late that would have won the game, and I think he was a little discouraged about it, but he'd be all right.
Did you make him walk home?
No, he did good. I was proud of him. He played the majority. He looked whipped. I mean, it was a breeze out there, but it was warm yesterday. So
That's nice.
Yep, Twig. I'll be out there. I told Dad I'll probably be out there by 11:30. Out there by 11:30. I can't remember what I was about to bring up. Oh, Grill Bill. Pretty good segment last week. Guys called in. Did a good job.
Nice. 8:45 today is the plan. Jen, did you see that email?
I'm guessing I did not.
Oh, that's because you weren't copied on it. Let me forward it to you. Brody is today's contestant.
Okay.
And his phone number is in this email.
I'm easily forgotten. I understand.
Yeah, we spent most of last week referring to you as Jason.
Me is Jason?
Yeah, the other producer, Jason. And after 3 days, somebody was like, "Isn't she a female?" We were like, "Oh yeah, Jenny. Jenny's her name." Well, Jenny will be back on Monday.
Yeah, you can tell that that's the name I've always gone by. One person got away with that. It was a golf coach that I had. The only one that I ever did not want to hurt by calling me that.
All right, Jen, we got to cut a sleep number maybe in the 8 o'clock hour, I guess. I'm getting.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Our sales staff is texting me left and right.
Yeah, all of a sudden, like, wow. Okay, I can't hear the open, so I'll just hope that. When patch goes up, I can't hear it.
We back?
Not exactly Masters to remember, but a fun Monday to talk about it anyway. Good to be back with you guys after taking the Easter week off last week. Bill, Patrick, how would you guys rate your week with no adult supervision from me or Jen? 1 through 10, what do we got? I'm guessing it was 12, 14, somewhere in there.
Well, I think it was an 8. I think we gave ourselves an 8 or a 9. I don't think it was perfect, but I think Patrick, I feel like the consensus amongst the live streamers and everybody was B- to B, unless it was Clemson Will. He seemed
very much weighed down by him. Yeah.
Yes, he seemed
yeah?
a little. Yeah, he was not happy with us throughout the week. But I mean,
all week.
Yeah. Other than that, I think we did very well. We almost didn't do the remaining 2 hours and 15 minutes on Friday just because Gamecock Larry yelled at us for talking too much. So we were going to give Sports Talk Radio a shot of not talking and just see how that went for 2 hours and 15 minutes. We took that a little personally. I think other than that, we didn't get too offended. We did a good job.
Fair evaluation there. Fair, completely biased evaluation by Bill Gunter about last week. As far as this weekend went, Masters not full of drama yesterday. If you looked and saw the final score, and it's a one-shot win by Hideki Matsuyama, you might have said, "Oh, a pretty good tournament." All right, and first ever major winner from the country of Japan. I'm sure that was very drama-filled, but it was. It was for about, Patrick, how long did you say? 30 seconds or so?
Yeah, I mean, maybe there was a 5-minute span before he finally, until the tee shot on 16, I think, from the walk from 15 to 16.
I think it was that, but I think at least this is how I was interpreting it. Okay, he Schauffele birdies 15 to get to within 2, and you're thinking, yes, 4th straight, and you're thinking, and I'm thinking, and some of the people, I was in a restaurant, there were people around me, was like, Matsuyama still has to make a mistake here at 16 to really open the door. And at that point, I don't like pulling for golf in that manner where Matsuyama's got to make the mistake. Schauffele hits it. I don't know if you guys know. I didn't agree that
before he hit in the water, Matsuyama didn't have to make a mistake. He would have had to make shots because he played not to lose over the last 4 holes. He was allowed to because he had that much breathing.
There was 3 holes left. It was a 2-shot lead at that point. And you have 16, 17, and 18 playing how they were playing, bogeying 2 out of those 3 holes, not out of the realm of possibility. It actually happened, I think. But it happened with no drama because you got the first time in 1,040-plus holes in major championship for Xander Schauffele, a triple bogey, and he hit it in the water. And that was wildly disappointing, I think, for those of us looking for the drama. Bill, I get what you're saying, that you kind of feel bad about yourself when you're pulling against somebody, especially who doesn't deserve it. Hideki Matsuyama did nothing him to play poorly, right? I mean, just the ultimate gentleman and really even keel and robot-like is how Xander Schauffele termed him, especially early on. I love the fact that he bogeyed number 1. He brought in a 4-shot lead into Sunday, and after 1 hole, it was down to 1 shot. And you had the Happy Gilmore caddy and Will Zalatoris just leaning into that, and it looked like he was going to make a run and make things interesting. And then it seemed like I was watching it most of the day with my kids. I was telling my 8-year-old, hey, if Matsuyama hadn't been part of this tournament, it would have been a really good tournament because everybody else was kind of down on a different level, and it was Matsuyama just cruising comfortably after that first hole when he was down to 1 shot. I think it goes back up to a 3-shot lead really quickly with Zalatoris bogey, and then I think it was a birdie for Matsuyama. But he didn't have to play that poorly down the stretch to make this thing interesting. That's why they always say, the old cliche is the Masters doesn't start until the back 9 on Sunday because of how it's set up. I mean, did you see the putt that Hideki Matsuyama had on 16 after Schauffele hit into the water? Matsuyama's on the top right portion of the green, and he's aiming at the top right portion of the green with not even looking at the flagstick that's over off his left shoulder. And he ended up 3-putting that thing for a bogey. And Patrick, you basically mentioned it. He played not to lose down the stretch. He played smart. And it just kind of sucks all the drama and fun out of it in a lot of ways. But he deserved to win. He was the best golfer of the weekend, deserved to win. Justin Rose, I think, was the most entertaining guy to watch. Jordan Spieth, you can throw him in there as well. At least Spieth was in the mix. But Rose going 7 under to start on Thursday and kind of running away from the field. And then just battling it the rest of the way. And I think was plus 2 or 3, I think, after the first round combined for his weekend. Just shows you kind of the ups and downs of Augusta National. Dustin Johnson not even making the cut. A bummer for those of us who have followed his career and pulled for him and were hoping for any kind of, back-to-back run, anything like that. And I think it does kind of hurt his credibility for winning that one rare, unique fall Masters that he didn't even make the cut the next time around. I think a lot of people put an asterisk on that. Obviously, the green jacket is the green jacket. And if you saw any of the green jacket ceremony, they put the montage together of through the years. And it was cool watching that with my sons. And they're like, who's that? Who's that? I'm like, Arnold Palmer. That's Jack Nicklaus. Ben Crenshaw was the one guy I think that they would have had really no reference to at all. But through the years, what it means to guys putting on that green jacket and how emotional Dustin Johnson got last year is something that we never see out of him. It was a bummer that he wasn't part of the festivities over the weekend and wasn't in any kind of run. He didn't even make the cut.
Yeah, let's go through a couple things from the weekend that I thought were kind of interesting. Other topics besides Matsuyama in terms of the Masters. Number one, Dustin Johnson. I look at it as he just an off week. He'll be back. It wouldn't shock me if he wins another major this year. I don't put anything into missing the cut at the Masters. It was really tough on Thursday, Friday. Matsuyama, what he did Saturday afternoon after the rain delay, probably give him more credit for that. Tim, you kind of mentioned he ran away from the field, but you guys are with me. Not much stock into Dustin Johnson failing to make the cut this week. Are you with me on that, or are you taking the sign of falling back to the pack a little bit?
No, he's the number one golfer in the world. There are a bunch of guys who didn't make the cut over the weekend. It happens at the Masters for sure.
Patrick, you with us on that? Are you?
Yeah, I don't think he's bad now.
Yeah. Okay. Now, on the complete flip side of this, and a guy that I really start to wonder about because of another poor performance. What do we make of Rory McIlroy at the Masters? Once again, can't make the cut. He is really struggling in majors right now. I don't know if it's a mental thing, a pressure thing. He shoots 76, 74 over the weekend. Are you guys putting any stock into McIlroy's having some significant issues and is far away? And I'm not saying he's close. He is far away from winning another major.
It happens. I mean, to me, it's like a batter. It's like hitters in baseball. Wes Clark comes out and looks like Babe Ruth at the beginning of this season and then has not been that in the last few weeks or so, but still leads the country in home runs. I think that's kind of Rory McIlroy. He's in a bit of a downturn. It's not Jordan Spieth can't win in 4 years kind of territory yet, but he's trending in that direction. But I think this is just how it goes, man. And Dustin Johnson's not there after just performance. Yeah. But if it continues through all of the majors, and Bill, if it goes through all of the majors, then I'm with you on Rory. And clearly his form is off. David just hit us up. Rory struggling. His swing is way out of whack, and he's that guy that if he misses, he's going to miss big. He and Dustin are kind of both that way, right? They hit it so far. Bryson De Chambeau.
That was going to be my third guy.
Of the ups and downs of Augusta, right? I think he shot 65 on Friday. Other than that, he was pretty poor on the weekend, and he doesn't quite fit what you have to have at the Masters to contend. It looks like
the Chambeau goes 76, 67 to squeeze in. I was wondering about that because he was my pick. I took the Chambeau to win. Patrick took Colin Morikawa to win. That was our kind of two picks.
Patrick, who did we Thomas guy going in, and I thought Thomas was right there. And this is the beauty of the Masters, right? The world's best can be right there, and then they can just disappear in a matter of a hole. Sometimes one hole, and then sometimes it's a series of a few holes. And unfortunately, we just didn't quite get the drama on the other end at the top with Matsuyama being so good.
Yeah, and DeChambeau, though, I'll be interested. I think, Patrick, we agreed that most of the live streamers and the text messages that we got it was basically the top three picks was DJ, Justin Thomas, and DeChambeau. Is that kind of what we agreed on Thursday? Spieth. Maybe it wasn't Justin Thomas. It was Spieth. I can't. So those were kind of. And Spieth plays well, man. I think that's another guy that you look at now to see if he can continue his run, and if he puts himself in contention for one of the majors here as we head into May and June and July.
U.S. Open is the career Grand Slam for him. That would be what he needs.
Be good.
Craig says Zalatoris is going to be a problem. That's the other thing about the Masters. It seems like you almost get it every year as well. Somebody that you don't expect making a run, and it was my introduction to Will Zalatoris. I know he's a Wake Forest guy. A young guy. I really appreciated his sense of humor with all the social media cracks about him looking like the caddy from Happy Gilmore, and Adam Sandler even tweeting something out yesterday, and he responded on Twitter, I saw, and even on one of his wedges, he's got the line, I think, from Happy Gilmore, Mr. Gilmore, I'll be your caddy today, I think. So it's something that is not new to him, but it was new to me, and I think the world of golf, and he's going to be a good player, man. And
golf people weren't surprised by that because apparently he's been ripping up the Corn Ferry.
Well, I love seeing guys like that, and this was Dawn Staley's kind of thought process with her young team in the NCAA tournament. They don't know what they're doing now. I feel like Zalatoris playing without any kind of baggage. They mentioned it on the telecast yesterday that, a lot of guys have so much history with that course that it can get in their head, and it can be something to overcome, like Jordan Spieth on number 12 from a few years ago when he basically just loses the tournament on that hole is an example. But when you're a young guy, you don't have any of that. You're just playing golf, and I feel like that's what he was doing, and he was doing it at a really high level. I was hoping he would make more of a run yesterday, especially after he was just one shot back after the first hole from Matsuyama when he came out in bogey. But it was really, really difficult for everybody, and Matsuyama just deserved it. Bill, anything else from the weekend that you wanted to point out before we head to a break here?
No, that was from the Masters. I thought those four golfers or those guys outside of Matsuyama, I didn't. Zalatoris is interesting. We'll see, but I think you talk about the big names right now, and you see DJ. I think he's going to be fine. I think it was just a 1 week thing. Mcilroy, I think there's definitely a concern there for me, for him. I wanted to get you guys taking that. De Chambeau, I think, is interesting because I picked him. We've talked about him a lot on this program, and the fact that he shot 76, then went 67, got himself back into it, but then goes 75, 75. Kind of interesting to see if he'll ever be at the Masters. And then Jordan Spieth there again playing really well. It was neat to see Phil Mickelson hang around for the weekend because as bad as he's been, I thought he would exit stage left sometime Friday afternoon, but I know he never contended, but it was at least neat to see him hanging around on the weekend and hitting a couple shots.
Billy Horschel wiping out was the moment of the tournament. Forgot about that. Phil is what reminded me of that.
Yeah.
He
was standing there, had to help him with his pants and everything. Yeah.
Well, Matsuyama hitting it into the drink there on 15, having the guts to go for it in 2 when he was in the position he was in, and then that lead dwindling from 6 to 2, and then Xander Schauffele hit it in the water on 16. That's what I'm going to take away from this Masters moving forward. If I'm going to remember anything, it certainly to me wasn't the most memorable tournament, and it's probably going to get muddled in my memory because it was so quickly after the fall one where Dustin Johnson took home his first green jacket, and we've had the weird situation. Great to have fans back there. And speaking of fans, that's the story coming out of Gamecock baseball. Taking 2 out of 3 against Missouri, but there was a statement released by Ray Tanner on Saturday and situation on Sunday during the game between fans and Missouri. I don't know what it is with South Carolina, Missouri, but there is something there. There seems to always be some kind of drama. Women's basketball, baseball, wherever you want to go with this thing. The classic Connor Shaw off the bench game out in Columbia, Missouri in 2013 or whenever that was, 12. Several years ago, double overtime and a field goal off the upright. There's always drama. There's more of it now. We'll discuss when we come back. Love to hear your thoughts. 803-404-6100 is the number if you would like to weigh in. You can give us a call on the Love Chevy phone lines. Hit us up on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. It's the early game here on 107.5 again. What is David watching? Stuart Sink. Great turning.
I think
I think they showed his like last putt, and I was like, "Is that Stuart Sink? Is he playing?" I have no idea.
Yeah. 2 under for the weekend.
Great turning. Is he turning into that guy, the old guy, like is he Bernard Langer, 20 years younger?
Well, we did say it is a tradition like any other when Sandy Lau opens up the tournament with a birdie to have the quick lead.
Nice. That was, I think, my first experience at the Masters, 2004 or something. I got to go down there, and I was just randomly walking by a tee, and I saw somebody hit one in the woods. I was like, that looks like one of my tee shots. I know a lot better about golf than Sandy Lau.
Oh.
Exactly, Waddy. Exactly. Except when they scramble for a par, that's when they're not one of us. They turn that into a, I'm just going to pick up on this hole and take a triple. One of us.
So you drive over, you do the old head scan out of the cart. If you see it, you don't see it, you're like, you know what? I'll just drop right here.
And hit the next one in the woods as well.
Yeah, you're like, hey, it was a top flight anyway. Well, the next group can find it.
Exactly. All right, Alan's got the personal account for Gamecock Baseball in on the text line.
That's Sunday? Yeah. We need an account for multiple different days.
Right.
Because there was, Ray was like, yeah, nobody got ejected. You have fake news. And people on Twitter were like, no, we don't. We literally watched it.
Right. Exactly, Waddy. Not a challenge to play on short grass.
Ugh.
All right, so we have the usual break structure here. We need to take it about 7:30, gentlemen.
Sounds like a plan. Tim, we were telling everybody, I think that was your first true vacation, not counting like some time off at Christmas or whatever, but where you'd actually been able to get away since, about 18, 20 months?
Yeah, I guess it depends how you look at it. I've been down to the beach with my family, but
Yeah.
just working, I think, usually during it.
Yeah, exactly.
I was trying to think. I think it's been, I've taken some days off here and there just to take them off.
Well, yeah, we had to take some off. So from a health perspective, we had a lot of time off last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't taken a true vacation in a long time. Like any of the time off I've been has been back home. Which is time away, but it's just that's different than a vacation. You know.
Right. And I'm guessing now with the third kid, it's going to be about 17 more years until
Right. Exactly.
Well, it looked like birthday number 1 went well.
Yeah, it did. That was definitely the highlight of the trip.
That's awesome.
Jen, let's do what's the home field advantage one? Is that number 2? Let's do that.
It is. Yep.
All right.
Five.
Mark Kingston, after taking 2 out of 3 against Missouri over the weekend, Gamecocks improved to 21-9, I believe is the overall record. 8-4 in conference play, tied for 4th. There are 3 teams ahead of them at 9-3. Now 12 games in, almost halfway. They'll be halfway after going to LSU this weekend. Charleston Southern up next, the midweek game for Carolina this weekend. And a good bounce-back performance after playing poorly. Mark Kingston disappointed with his team on Friday night. Not the performance they expected. It was one of those weird games where it didn't start until 8:30 after a rain delay, and the offense never got going. And midway through the series, it wasn't looking good. It was the former Friday night guy from Missouri going on Saturday. I think he's been injured and kind of battling his way back and hitting big numbers. I guess their Friday night guy actually hit 97, 98. And then on Saturday, another pro prospect going and shutting down the Carolina Bats until the 5th inning where Brady Allen hits a big 3-run homer. And that sparked things. And then it was just a different team after that, especially with 2 strikes. I think 12 of the 13 runs yesterday is the stat. Came with at-bats that had 2 strikes, where the Gamecocks had 2 strikes on, which is just otherworldly. And taking 2 out of 3 is something that you had to do if you're looking to be that Gamecock program to host in the postseason. When you're taking on the team that has the worst overall record, I think, in SEC baseball. Missouri 11-19 now overall. Auburn 12-16, even though they're 1-11 in conference play. So Auburn, the worst team in conference play. Missouri, the worst team overall. They're sitting at 4-8 in the conference. Good bounce back, couple of wins. The interesting part about this thing is just whatever is going on between Carolina and Missouri. And Alan just hit us up on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. And Patrick, I know you read this thing off the air. I want to read some of it, but you're right. This is a complicated deal, what happened over the weekend, because it wasn't just what happened in yesterday's game. To me, this was more of what happened leading up to yesterday's game. And yesterday, between the 7th and 8th inning, I think it was, or somewhere in there, there was clearly some issue with Missouri and their dugout and fans, and then umpires kind of paused the game. Third base coach and hitting coach that one of the friends of the program here, Stuart Lake, was involved in it over there. There was conversation about what the umpire should do, security should do. But to me, Bill, it was really surprising to see Ray Tanner put out a statement on Saturday after social media stuff had popped up about people getting kicked out of the game. Fans getting kicked out on Saturday, and then the response from Ray Tanner and the administration was, well, nobody got kicked out. But then the statement came about Ray Tanner addressing his staff and making it clear that they want a home field advantage, but just don't cross the line, basically, when you heckle. But what do you make of the situation, the home field advantage for Gamecock fans at Founders Park? Because you have to base this off of not just what we saw isolated in Columbia this weekend, but you look at Ole Miss playing Arkansas, it's number 2 and number 3 in the country. Ole Miss hits a home run on Saturday, and it looks like it's Oktoberfest at Swayze Field in the outfield. It was crazy.
You said that. The funny thing, I started laughing when I watched that earlier this morning, because you said it was like a water cannon went off in basically right center field where the ball landed. It's packed back there. They're on a berm, they're on a hill, whatever you want to call it, and it's packed shoulder to shoulder, and the ball lands. And you're right, everybody, if you had anything in your cup, water, an adult beverage, a Sprite, whatever, it went into the sky. And as it happened, I was like, oh, that must have been a game winner. Nope, made it 5-0 in the third.
Right.
It's like,
they couldn't have choreographed that thing better.
No, they couldn't have. I don't know if they had some kind of like weekly practice to do that, but you're right. I think maybe that's something that we do start to see. We talked a little bit about it in football. And Dan Mullen, remember, he talked a little bit about this and blamed his team's loss at Texas A&M on Texas A&M having a home field advantage. And remember, he came back and said it's time to pack the swamp and we got to get people in here. We got to create a home field advantage. And I think you're gonna have coaches say these things, and we'll have to kind of monitor it. You're right. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that I'm a political person and pay enough attention to whatever it is the state of Mississippi is doing with capacity laws and how they're handling it.
Obviously, headlines in the NFL on the same issue too. Talk about full stadium.
Yeah. So I mean I don't know. I think football. I personally think football will be fine, and that we'll have completely full stadiums for those. But as this continues to evolve and states kind of go about doing their own thing, I guess athletic directors, school presidents will have to make their own decisions as to what direction they want to go with it. And certainly South Carolina is one of those schools right now.
But it's not just a capacity issue. It's also, okay, when there is limited capacity, you do hear fans much clearer from the stands on the field. And what is appropriate, I think, becomes the question, right? Alan hits us up, says, I was there. He's talking about Sunday. He says, basically, the hecklers were getting on the Mizzou players. I know, shocking, Alan says, and got into the Mizzou players' heads. No cursing, no profanity, certainly no racist comments. The Missouri players started calling the hecklers and us racists. We reminded them Dawn Staley had sued their AD and won because they had accused Carolina fans of that before. We also reminded them they were the last place team in the SEC, etc. No fans were thrown out yesterday, Allen says. The ushers and security guards investigated. Nothing happened. That's when Stuart Lake came out to the third base box at the change of the inning. Apparently their dugout started on him, and he went to go pay them a visit. Got wild, Allen says. Wow. I mean, especially for a game that was kind of ho-hum, as how Mike Morgan put it on the SEC Network broadcast. It was an odd situation for sure, and kind of leads to, all right, what happens at Founders Park the rest of the way? How does clearly USC Athletic Director Ray Tanner addressed it? How do fans kind of react to it moving forward? Mark Kingston after the game was asked what would he like to see, and he's like, I coach baseball. However many fans they want to let in, I'm for letting as many as in as possible, and I hope as many tickets are available. That's how many people show up, and then they're loud, and there is a home field advantage. We'll see how this continues to evolve for sure. We'll continue the discussion as we roll on as well. 803-404-6100, where Alan hit us up in that Cool Care Heating and Air text line. You can call us at that same number on the Love Chevy phone lines. We kick off the second half of the show. Coming up next here, it's the early game. That's 107.5 The Game. Patrick, you get into NFL draft stuff last week?
Not really. Did we, Bill? I don't think we did.
Not a ton. We hit on a few things, but Was Tim? Were you around for the Sam Darnold trade?
No.
So yeah, we did do that then.
You need me to at the end of this break, Jim?
Yeah, please. I should have gone ahead and just done traffic. I was on the phone.
Gotcha. After what spot here? What's the last spot?
After South Carolina, it's about 2 minutes.
Thank you.
Hey Patrick, the grill bill last Monday was about 8, like 8 right after 8 or something.
Yeah.
Okay, you didn't pull anything back, did you?
No, I recorded it and sent it to Jeff.
Oh, you did? Okay. I saw his email and didn't know if he had. So, okay, thanks. I'll stop looking. Sweet.
Oh, your boy Rooster P on the phone.
Oh boy.
Yep.
The Saturday game.
Oh, so
I think I heard it. Saturday game.
Yeah, that's when people got kicked out, allegedly.
I thought it was Friday.
No, I think that was Friday. That was Saturday.
Saturday.
So Friday, there were no issues.
Right. Well, there were hardly any fans there because it was an hour and a half rain delay. 8:30 start.
Yeah, Saturday's game got moved up to noon. That's right, because I was, yeah.
So this is me here, Jen, right?
Yes, sir.
All the spring cleaning time is definitely in full effect. Certainly around my house, coming back from a little Easter break. Now we got to get serious. If you want to get serious around your house, and well, maybe if you don't want to get serious, if you want to get seriously clean and have some help doing it, I recommend you get Zero Res out to your house. Zero Res carpet and air duct cleaning. Been out to my house a couple of times. Did a great job cleaning my carpets. They clean an area rug for me. Also, the tiles in both the kitchen and bathroom. It's how Zero Res does it that's especially impressive and especially important to me and my family. No harsh chemicals involved in their patented powered water cleaning process. They crank up the pH in the water. You can go on ZeroResColumbia.com to find out all those specifics. What I need to know is there are no harsh chemicals, nothing for me to worry about when it comes to my kids being on the carpets. Also, no leftover soapy residue. That's why my carpets have stayed cleaner longer. Yours can as well at your home or your business. Zero Res, the commercial cleaning division, working day and night, businesses all over the Midlands, following all those CDC guidelines, making sure everything is as clean, everything is as safe as possible, and wearing masks, gloves, shoe covers, disinfecting all equipment between jobs. And right now, they've got a great deal for you, only $119. That'll get you 3 rooms of carpet cleaned, plus a free hallway when you mention me, Tim Hill. Book that appointment today, 803-262-4020. Schedule it online, ZeroResColumbia.com. It's Zero Res. Spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean.
You guys are up.
All right, about an hour from now, Grill Bill. I didn't get to be a part of the first segment from last week. Segment number 2 of Grill Bill coming up in just about an hour from now. It's brought to you by the South Carolina Pork Board, its member farmers, IGA Food Stores, and Camp Chef. Today's qualifier is Brody. He also gets a $50 gift card to IGA Food Stores to buy some of that South Carolina pork, and we'll get a chance to win that $1,000 plus Camp Chef pellet grill. We'll see what Brody has for Bill coming up in about an hour from now. Your first segment, Bill, on a scale of 1 to 10, how are the questions? Did you get what you were expecting there? How was it?
I think our show is a little bit different, and I think people know that. They know that our sense of humor is slightly different than Heath's, and I think that we had Trey who joined us last week. So I don't know I never know what we're going to get. We're going to get somebody who's really looking to cut up and go a different direction, or if they want to be sporty sports. Trey, I thought it was a 10 out of a 10 for this question. He asked what was it, Patrick? We had 4 questions. Most underrated career for a South Carolina athlete.
Okay.
Which I thought was pretty good. He asked, what was it, best sports movie, Patrick?
The one that needs to be remade, and then a second one was one that I think should never be remade.
Okay.
We were talking about Space Jam.
Yep, Space
Gotcha.
Jam, and then I feel like there was a 4th question that I've now forgotten. Any chance you remember? It was a week ago.
I wrote them down too, and I couldn't find my Post-it card.
Yeah, but
Sounds
that
like
was very good, very good. Oh, I know the one rule you would change in sports.
Oh yeah.
The one rule you would change in sports.
Magic batter again. You go back.
Well, I went honest. I would honestly change. I don't know if it's a rule, but the width of a basketball court, the way that they played, I'd spread it out a little bit more.
Interesting. Okay. So we'll see what today's Grill Bill segment has. That's coming up in about an hour from now. In about 20 minutes from now, you get a chance to win as well with our $25K workday payday, 10 times a day, Monday through Friday, all the way until May 12th, revealing a secret keyword, asking you to text in to qualify. You win $100 there, plus every winner entered into the drawing for the grand prize jackpot of $25,000. All you got to do is text in the hourly keyword, 95819. That's 25K workday payday, coming up in about 20 minutes from now. Number 1 of 10 today at the top of every hour from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. Wanted to get out to the Love Chevy phone line. So you mentioned our show is a little different. We like to have fun on our show. One of the guys that helps us do that is our buddy Rooster P. Weighs in from his 18-wheeler nearly every morning, but typically doing it via text. We're honored to have you on the Love Chevy phone lines this morning, sir. Where are you weighing in from, Rooster P?
Oh, it's quite the honor here. Long time no talk to, guys. I'm actually pretty get me to Texas. It's Saturday, and I was right within 10, 15 feet from the actual group of young men in Texas. We're behind the dugout. And I even got the text again with some of the players, and I saw a lot of other fans were doing it, and I had no problems with they had no problems, didn't they do? They were kind of chuckling and laughing at us, at the young boys there. But nobody said anything profane, no bad things, nothing. Really, they were just excellent. And I couldn't believe yesterday got so out of line like it did with their team coming at us with some of the stuff they came out with. Before I understand, it was, and what surprised me was after the game, the young group of guys, I'm assuming there's the hecklers there. After the game, they were still kind of cutting up, heckling, throwing their little comments at the Missouri team, and one of the ushers, he came over there and shooed them out. So told them to leave. I thought, what the heck? They're here. They're heckling. They're spinning it. We're fans. I don't get that. That's part of baseball. I always thought that's just my understanding.
So, Rooster P, let me ask a couple of questions here for clarification's sake, because the Saturday game that was moved up to a noon start from the original 4 o'clock to get ahead of the weather, this is where I think there was some confusion, or there still is confusion on my part, just watching it via social media. I think some people said that there were fans kicked out of the game for heckling, or for what you were saying, kind of in the same way, for just typical heckling, and the security staff at Founders Park was a little overzealous in removing them from the stadium. From what I just heard, though, that you didn't see that during the game, you just saw it after the game was over. Is that correct?
I think that incident was a little bit away from where we were at. So I really didn't see, or I really can't comment on that. But the actual group of students, the young guys that I call the third base hecklers, they were within 10, 15 feet nothing out of line, no profanity or nothing like that. Nothing but heckling. Even like I say, I got it.
No doubt about it. Rooster P, appreciate the eyewitness account from Saturday. So that makes sense then, guys, that it would be a little confusing, right? If you see stadium personnel kind of getting guys away, getting fans away from a team after the game, where you can say there was an ejection or there was an ejection. I can see why there can be some confusion there, and I think that's probably appropriate behavior. Hey, game's over. Time to go home, guys. Time to go home. I got no problem with that. And I understand, too, why I've also heard from fans that hecklers did not cross the line after hearing from what Rooster P said there, why there might have been a need for clarification from the top. And Ray Tanner put that statement out on Saturday saying that he had addressed his staff and made sure that everyone was clear about what was appropriate or kind of the stadium personnel's role, that if it's just typical heckling, like what Rooster P was saying, you're not there to step in. Obviously, on Sunday, the Missouri players thought it had crossed the line, and I think they were calling for security in the stadium to remove some of the fans, and that's when there was a stoppage of play there. The umpires got involved, and they were trying to figure out exactly what went down. I don't think anybody was kicked out in that thing. Clearly, I'm wondering what would have happened if these games would have been more heated. I mean, these were not close games. Right. Well, if the games had gotten a little closer, to me, it's Carolina fans doing their job in a lot of ways and getting on Missouri's nerves and getting in their heads. And clearly it had an impact, and it worked in the home field advantage in a big way, like Mark Kingston was talking about after the game. Bill, how do you read the situation?
Yeah, I'm interested to know if this would have escalated even more if we're talking about games that in the 8th or 9th were close, and if you had a little bit, maybe it wouldn't have escalated. Maybe more of the focus would have been on the field than in the stands. Maybe Missouri would have been more focused on trying to win the ball game than they were trying to win the war of words with the fans and not be whipped both by the fans and by the opposing team. So hard to say regarding that, but I don't know. I think it's a byproduct of a lot of things here. Again, it seems like the common denominator, I know I've already got the text message that the common denominator was not Missouri, but it does seem like it's just fans having a good time. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe people disagree with that. Maybe there's other people that were around them. I know Rooster P said he was around them, but maybe there's other people that were around them and were offended. Maybe you had young children there. Maybe it did cross the line. I wasn't there. I can't speak for it. All we can do is listen to the people that were there and let them give their opinion. I remember, I guess it was 8-4 going into the 8th when all this happened, right? It happened between the 7th and 8th, or between the.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It was a 4-run game, not a 1-run game or a tie game or anything like that. Patrick, I know you got a take on this. Want to get that? Want to also get another eyewitness account on this. On the Love Chevy phone lines, we've got another fan who was there both Saturday and Sunday. We'll do that when we come back. 803-404-6100 if you want to weigh in. Call or text. It's the early game here on 107.5.
Oh, it was a fantastic weekend. Weather fairly good, and we're having more of it. We're going to have great weather coming up, which means if you have a personal pool at your house, you're probably going to want to use it. If you don't want to use it, I can guarantee this, your kids are going to want to use it, and they want to use a clean pool. They want to be able to hop in, not be covered in pollen that's in the pool, leaves, other little critters that get into the pool. You want to make sure it's a good, clean pool for your family to use, and you would probably like to do and enjoy it as well. At least that's my guess. That's why you need to use Corley Pool Solutions. 803-445-8109. After a long, hard week of work, you want to be able to lay out, relax, enjoy your own pool in your backyard. And if it's dirty, you can't do that. With Corley Pool Solutions, they offer flat monthly rate pool maintenance. That's right. It's actually cheaper to use Corley Pool Solutions than to go to the pool store to buy the chemicals to try and do all that by yourself. It's just much easier. Also, Tracy Corley and his team, 20 years of experience. They are ready to help you and your family make sure that you have a pool that's beautiful, that's clean, that's ready to use, whether you want to use it or whether you want to have friends over, hang out, do a little grilling, and relax. 803-445-8109. Again, that's 803-445-8109. Don't wait around. Get in touch with Tracy Corley and Corley Pool Solutions today. Get them out there, get that pool clean, and have a fantastic weekend.
Kip Bachnight wants to weigh in on the situation. You guys good with him popping on?
Did he send you, what was this? He's a good shooter, Waddy. He'll be a good shooter. I think South Carolina will have a better shooting team. Chico Carter, Jacoby Wright, and Eric Stevenson are all pretty good shooters. If Cousinard comes back, Cousinard's not a bad shooter. I don't know what happened to him this year.
It was 50% of his career he has been.
Maybe one of the great mysteries in South Carolina athletics is what happened to Jermaine Cousinard his sophomore year.
That's the lamest cop-out hot take of all time. They'll be a better shooting team. Yeah. How could you not be?
Well, that too, but I could see them getting worse.
Wow.
Didn't they have one game where didn't they have one or two games where they made a bunch of threes?
Yes, out of 21, they did have one or two games.
I'm trying to think of another player that has had a freshman season, and it wasn't that Cousinard had this incredible freshman season, but that he followed that up with a sophomore season that was so bad.
Well, he did what Dwayne Notice did his senior year.
Just disappeared?
Notice couldn't shoot a lick his senior year.
Yeah. It's true.
Trey, not bad. Not great. Got a little family sickness going on. Just the sinus mess that you might hear out of my nose. So, not 4 stars. Jen, what about you?
As far as the time away, yeah, it was good. Just tried to help take care of mom a little bit, and no big traffic snafus or travel snafus. Flew to and from Chicago, and you can tell that a lot of people are out because things are a lot different. Yep, very busy. They're not keeping the middle seats empty anymore. So that's kind of a bummer.
So you still got Dale on the line?
We do.
Cool. I want to get him real quick.
Okay.
Not that we need to discuss this, but it got brought to my attention, I guess, Saturday evening. The women's softball team is like 0-12 in it. They were 19-4 and have not won an SEC game.
They won yesterday, I believe.
Did they? Okay. Yeah, I didn't. I mean.
So we'll take the extra minute here, Jim, and go right to the caller.
Yes. And you'll have just a little over a minute, maybe a minute 15.
Didn't we say a 2-year extension? What did we say there, King?
I think he must be talking about Frank Martin.
You're just bitter that he got an extension. Bad year, man. Bad year. Still a good coach. If you got a better coach in line that's going to take South Carolina basketball to the promised land, Jan, I'm all ears. And I want to talk about that extension too. Make sure. Oh, softball coach.
Oh,
good, man. You're really complaining about the softball coach?
All right,
So
get him back in.
is Jan the one that? Sorry, I'll take it easy on you, Jan. My fault.
Red balls. Dang it. Yep. I have just a minute.
Oh, wait, did Heath reply to our guy again?
You're up.
Drama-filled weekend at Founders Park with Gamecock fans and Missouri baseball. Baseball team taking 2 out of 3 on the field. Off the field, it was interesting for sure. Dale was there. Love to hear your perspective on this thing, Dale. Don't have a whole lot of time, though.
After we worked there and know a lot of people, I was there Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, what people were confused about, they were students sitting on the first base side down in row 1. This year, students have general admission tickets. Well, the students that were sitting on row 1 due to COVID got kicked out of their seats because they're not allowed on row 1.
15.
They were just losing their seats. And people think they got ejected from the game.
Excellent, Dale. Sorry to cut you short here, but we have to hit the top of the hour break. When we will get to you in hour number 3.
Clear. Well, that's interesting.
Yep, that makes sense.
That was a bad start to a call when he said, I kind of work there and know a lot of people. I mean, kind of work there.
No, the bad start of the phone call is the drawn out well. Well,
You know,
he ain't going to make the time on this one. The
Oh my
shot
God.
clock's going to win. Let's just see if any points are made.
So we had angry listener guy and our boy here within the last few minutes with basically the same kind of mess. Unbelievable. All right, let's see what Bachman wants to do.
Jen, you want to try to record this real quick?
Yeah.
You wanna...
Let's see. Okay. Yeah. If Tim wants to dump us out.
All right, I'm ready.
You suckers. So I didn't see any NFL drama over the weekend.
Nah, I don't think there was any NFL drama. I think we get a mad rush at the beginning, a lot of signings, and then everyone's kind of waiting to see how the draft shakes out before the final wave of free agency really hits.
So I just been weekend. Still recovering from a couple of weeks ago? You good?
No. Saturday was nice to get that thing done. I really didn't do much. I think next weekend will be a bigger weekend. My family's coming down next weekend.
Hockey drama. Get out of here, Trey.
The trade deadline's about to hit, yeah. Capitals traded Jonas Siegenthaler for the Devils. And it was a big lacrosse weekend. Number 1 and 3 went down. Maryland's about to be number 1 in the country.
I did see you tweet that out.
I'm getting real annoyed, though. It's just becoming impossible to watch games.
Why is that?
Because ACC Network and freaking Big Ten Network Plus. I can't pay for those. Not gonna. It's too much. I already got all the other. I got Netflix, Hulu, Disney, HBO Max. Big Ten Network Plus is not in the budget.
Just looking for new baseball rankings here, see if anything came out already this morning.
Is Kentucky bad?
Kentucky is not bad. I don't think they're ranked.
They have been ranked throughout the season, haven't they? Or preseason, maybe?
They have. Is this? Oh, okay. Good. Baseball America standings are out. Let's see. Gamecocks are at 10, down one spot. There. Yeah, Kentucky's not ranked there. LSU's not ranked there. So not quite. I mean, you want to go by, I think collegiate baseball does like the top 40. Probably they're all ranked. You read the last text? It's great.
Yeah. I think all of our shows do that too. Just how it goes.
Oh, nice. How about that? I like Trey's suggestion.
Kind of fan.
Drunk is number one, isn't he?
What?
Belligerent drunk, number one.
Not number one.
Who's number one?
Sometimes the belligerent drunk fan is funny.
No, not if he's belligerent. Come on, use that whiteboard, man.
I'm trying to think. Well, I'm trying to think what it is that I hate the most about Philadelphians that, like, I can put into words.
So I'm thinking you got wannabe funny guy who's not funny. Classic cliche heckler. They're awful. How about the checked out fan that's just there on their phone, like not even paying attention to the game, always getting up?
Are we talking at
Yes.
at game?
An event, yes.
At an event.
Know-it-all fan who generally is wrong. That's good. This is a good topic here. Chris with too loud guy. Uh-huh. How about overly negative guy? I've been at a game before. Every time they're about to pass, don't throw an interception. Don't throw an interception.
Yeah, I like overly negative guy.
Sorority girl selfie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Know-it-all guy is definitely the worst.
Which one?
Know-it-all guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Know-it-all guy or overly negative guy. Overly negative. I've gotten into it with a couple of those guys who just that just didn't. And I don't know if overly negative guy is also the guy who thinks that the coaches are pretty much there with the intention to lose.
Right.
Exactly.
Like, Trey, you just got to get in. You got to photo bomb those selfies. Got to get on in there.
Yeah, I had a dude that did that at our wedding. We went from table to table, take pictures with everybody. And we had one guy that followed us and is in every single picture. And now he divorced my cousin. I just want to white him out. Yeah.
As a prankster, I would think that you would enjoy that kind of
Not at that event.
Wow.
Other things maybe.
Attaboy, Patrick.
I wish my laptop wasn't glaring in the.
How's today's the
You
first
guys wanna do some radio?
the ring. What do you think about the ring?
All right, come back up.
Moseying on into hour number 3. We'll see if the off-air conversation can get on air as the radio headphones are on for Bill, Patrick, Jen, holding things down, producing in the Herndon Chevrolet studios this morning. Glad to be back with you after Jen and I had the Easter week off last week. I had barely survived. Little sinus thing, family, the whole thing. Good. Great to be back with you guys today on a day where we're not talking about an epic Masters for sure. Right? We've been totally spoiled the last 2, right? You had Tiger last spring, or I guess it wasn't last spring, right? The last time we had a spring Masters. And then you had Dustin Johnson, the local story, the guy who really got the marquee win in his career, doing it from an hour away and here in town and everything that was connected to Dustin Johnson. And then this weekend, especially yesterday, we got not much drama other than a bogey on number 1 for Hideki Matsuyama, where his 4-shot lead becomes a 1-shot lead. But then after that, it balloons up to 6. After 4 straight birdies from Xander Schauffele, you get it down to a 2-shot lead going into 16, and Schauffele promptly is first off the tee there and pops it in the water. Matsuyama, ends up bogeying 15, 16, and 18. It's only a 1-shot win on paper, but it was never really in doubt after that. 2-shot lead was not challenged on 16 when Schauffele goes into the water. I give Matsuyama all the credit in the world, right? I know the narrative, right? The pressure of an entire nation on his shoulders and the whole thing. Yep, I guess so. I don't know the history of Japan and golf very well, but I do know Matsuyama, how Xander Schauffele put it, was kind of robot-like. He was just the best golfer of the weekend. He deserved to win. And we'll see what kind of impact it has on golf moving forward. I think we said on the broadcast yesterday, he might end up being worth $1 billion.
How can that be when you have no personality? That's the hard part.
But we don't. I think he does have personality. We just don't know it because of the language barrier. I did see on social media there's a video out, a commercial that Nike did, I guess. I think Nike did it. It's Rory McIlroy and Tiger Woods sitting in class, and Hideki Matsuyama is teaching them how to speak Japanese. It's pretty good. You want to get a sense of his personality. Now, maybe this was all a corporate PR advertising campaign that was infusing personality. I don't know. But I do know on the golf course, it's good not to have personality. Dustin Johnson's never been accused of having an audacious personality, and it's really worked out well for him. Hideki Matsuyama, a robot-like yesterday. Even when he hit it in the water at 15, that lead got down to 2 shots. Didn't seem to bother him very much. And I think that is part of the reason why he is now the first guy from Japan to win a major tournament, and especially at the Masters, front and center. And we'll be interesting to see where it goes from there. I love getting going on the whiteboard, Bill. What about you? This was Trey's suggestion. We've had the conversation this morning about Founders Park and the home field advantage and hecklers, and there were multiple issues over the weekend when the Gamecocks take 2 out of 3 against Missouri. Missouri, a big win on Friday night. Gamecocks bouncing back with a couple of big wins Saturday and Sunday. Even though the games weren't close, the back and forth between fans and Missouri and the history of Missouri and South Carolina all coming to light. And that brings us to the question of what are the worst fans out there. That, Patrick, you got a list started there for us?
Yeah, I actually just reshuffled it. It basically top 4 are 2 ends of different spectrums that annoy me equally.
Okay, go ahead and give us the list, then we'll get Bill's take on that.
Number 1 worst fan is the know-it-all guy in the crowd who's always correcting you and butts into other conversations and feels the need to say, actually, this is why that was called, and yada, yada. But number 2 is...
Wait a second. Bill, is it possible that you're a know-it-all guy?
No, I'm a pretty quiet fan.
I see Bill not interrupting a conversation from another section.
I don't like doing that because I don't know those people, and I'm trying to be able to read your whiteboard here on mine so I can keep up with it. But no, I'm actually at the park. I'm a pretty quiet person.
Number 2 is great, Patrick. Number 2 is great.
So the know-it-all guy is bad, but so is the doesn't know the rules guy who's complaining about that's pass interference or whatever it may be.
Yep.
He's completely wrong. Usually trying to impress girls with his sports knowledge.
Can I tell a story about one of those people one time who's we'll just say a family member? We're at a Carolina game, and there's a family member, and we're sitting there, and the play starts, and it's clear that the left tackle jumped off sides, and the family member starts yelling, "Holding! That's a holding!" They throw the flag. He's like, "Holding! That's a holding!" And I was like, "Well, I think that the tackle jumped off sides. Like, I think the tackle." And he's like, "No, dude, no, it's holding, man, holding." And I was like, "No, I'm telling you, I think the left tackle jumped off sides." He's like, "All right, but I'm telling you, it's going to be a holding call." Referee gets up there. He's like, he goes, "False start, left tackle." And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, well, of course, the false start happened before the hold. I was like, yeah, is how it works. That's how it works. That's typically the rules of the game. So ever since then, I prefer to just sit there and kind of be quiet and hang out with whoever I've got there with me. We'll
take mental notes for the show, right? You got a whole week of radio to do, and just take mental notes and go.
Yeah.
All right, Patrick, give us the rest of the list real quick.
Well, then the next 2 are overly positive guy and overly negative guy, because essentially I think overly positive guy is worse because when it's like the fourth quarter and you just throw a pick 6 to be down 2 touchdowns with 3 minutes left, and he's like, "It's okay, we can still come back. It's okay, guys." I get you're that person. No, it is over, buddy. It's over. Overly negative guy is also bad. Like,
does that make you
opening
overly
drive,
negative?
you give up a touchdown, or you have to punt on the opening drive, and they say, "Oh, we have no shot of winning this game now. It's over."
But doesn't that turn you into overly negative guy?
That's why I push overly negative guy underneath of overly positive guy, because I'm much closer to the overly negative guy.
I guess
overly positive guy is way worse. At some point, you have to have a little bit of, you have to understand
self-awareness or game awareness of what's going on.
All right, what do you got, 5 and 6?
The guy that's just always trying to make jokes and make friends with everyone in the section, but he's just not funny at all. Could also be. I'm not going to go there. I was going to say we have some texters like that, but.
And you just went there.
And then number 6, because there's multiple forms of it, but then the drunk guy is number 6.
Yeah,
and I just put him 6. Anyone who's sober and being bad, I put them worse because they know what they're doing and they can't change it. I at least understand a drunk guy. Like maybe he didn't realize he didn't mix in the water, didn't realize how hot it was, and it would hit him harder than he expected. But again, there's levels to the drunk guy. So I'll probably have to break that thing up into subcategories because the guy that doesn't stop yelling, that is a problem. The guy that maybe he's falling asleep on your shoulder when you're sitting next to him, that's too long of a day, like that's also bad. But
all right, we'll continue this conversation in a minute. First, want to get out to the Love Chevy phone lines. Golden Spikes Award winner, SEC Network Plus analysts Kip Bachnight at all the games over the weekend for the Gamecocks. Kip, you want to weigh in on this Gamecock fans situation, the home field advantage at Founders Park? I guess, first of all, can you break down what you saw over the weekend and then your take on it?
Yeah, thanks, Tim. I was there Friday and Saturday. Wasn't there Sunday as it was on the big network with Mike Morgan and Todd Walker.
They weren't there either. No big deal. They were hanging out at their house.
Yeah. But, honestly, on Saturday, I never saw a thing. Didn't see one thing, never heard about anything, didn't hear about it until literally I got home after the game. So, really just completely clueless on that. But I've listened to the show this morning. I've kind of got to found out some things from Justin Scurry, the ground crew. I got his son his son at Maddox on our son's 9-year team. And, the biggest thing for me is I know what it feels like as a former player. I'll give you two perspectives. As a former player, I know what it feels like playing Mississippi State, Alabama, Arkansas, LSU, Tennessee, Florida. And I can promise you this, and I've mentioned this before on the broadcast, and I think that right now, I think it's the golden opportunity finally really and truly be able to have a great opportunity to be known as, man, you go to South Carolina, you're talking about a tough place to play. When we used to leave those stadiums, it literally felt like road relief. I mean, when I say that we got heckled, that is an understatement. I think a lot of the listeners remember Marcus Best, our center fielder, ended up pitching in the big leagues. He also was the kickoff guy for the South Carolina football team. He was literally, he would not leave the dugout one inning to go out to play center field at Mississippi State. That's how bad they were. Now, I'm going to say what they were saying, and that is completely wrong. And I know Southern Banner would not condone that on our fans, and I don't ever even expect our fans to cross that line and do that. But should they be allowed to heckle? Should they be allowed to absolutely make it a home field advantage for us? Are you kidding? That, I'm telling you right now, can win 3 to 5 SEC games a year, just that environment alone. And I promise you, our players aren't going to voice it much, our coaches aren't going to, but I can promise you, they won't. They've been begging for it for years. And I'm glad this is finally out because it needs to happen. And I think, I think it can. I think our student section's involved. I mean, we're excited about our baseball program right now, and I think it needs to happen. Does it need to be? Do we need to have class doing it? Yes. Do we need to not cuss and say bad words to these kids? Absolutely yes. But do we need to get on them and make it extremely difficult for the opposing team? 100%. And I'm so proud of Coach Tanner. He came out and said, hey, we do want that home field advantage, but we also want to do it the right way. So that's my take on it, and I'm excited. I think it's an opportunity. I think it was handled wonderfully by Coach Tanner to be able to try to encourage that. It's just a matter now of hopefully our fans and all the attendees. Every single game that he's out there with the hecklers, and they are completely clean. They're not cussing at the kids, but they are absolutely hammering them. Never really seen Coach Tanner rattle, but I know when we left LSU in 2000, after we lost on Friday night in the ninth inning, Saturday in the ninth inning, and then Sunday almost blew it again in the ninth inning, and we won. When we got on that bus, I'm telling you, he had some choice words to the fans whenever we left. And I won't share that story because it's one I think Coach Tanner would kill me to share, but I promise you, it rattled us all. They were extremely, extremely tough place to play, and that is home field advantage.
So, Kip, can you school up anybody? Can you coach up anyone out there as a Gamecock fan who wants to go to the games and wants to help create the home field advantage, but wants to do it in the best way possible? Any advice there? That's the tricky part, right?
We have to spend a lot of time and go to school on that. I don't know, but I think the best thing to do is, and this isn't always easy, but try.
And isn't the admission kind of that Carolina fans got into Missouri players' heads what we saw on Sunday? That they basically called out the umpires, I think, to take care of the situation. Isn't that when fans win? Gamecock legend Kip Balknight weighing in on the Founders Park home field advantage. Appreciate the insight, sir. Kip Balknight. Interesting take, man. One of the best, if not the best ever, to do it on the field, but also a guy, Bill, that did it with a lot of emotion, and you can hear it there in his voice how important that was and it still is to him and the Gamecock baseball program.
Yeah, and you guys would agree, though, there is an element, and I'm reading some of the text messages that are coming in just about different fans, and they're really good. We got to get back to those because there's some really good replies on the text line. But you would agree that there's an art to heckling, talking trash, whatever. Like, and that's why I don't know. I have to go back and look at Patrick's screen. What was it? Number 2 guy is, let's see.
Doesn't know the rules.
No, funny jokester. Number 5 on your screen is because that's the guy who thinks he's leading the heckling charge. Even, I think we went to a football game this year. I took my kids, and even my daughter was like, "Dad, is that guy aware he's not very funny at all?" And just like, I was like, no, sweetie. He thinks he's the life of the party right now. He's having a good time. So yeah, that guy, there is an art to it, right? There's an ability to know exactly what to say, when to say, and not cross the line, but to kind of get your point across.
803-404-6100 if you would like to weigh in on the home field advantage conversation. Let you hear what Carolina head coach Mark Kingston had to say about it when we come right back. You're listening to the early game. It's 107.5 The Game. What a time. Somebody was just commenting about the excitement they have for Shane Beamer, the upcoming Gamecock football season. I know if you are in any kind of mortgage business, any kind of home buying business right now, it's an exciting time as well. The numbers at record levels. Buford Lending wants to help you out. Buford Lending, Benji Getze runs it down there and has for almost 25 years at this point. He knows his experience and the fact that he has his own mortgage company there. They're not attached to a bank. A couple of the advantages that he can offer you. And Benji's not saying that you should definitely sign up with him and he has to be your guy and the whole thing. All Benji's asking is that you give him a call. 843-524-2404. Benji knows that you're smart. You're going to do your due diligence when you're making a big decision like who you're going to go with your mortgage. You're going to do your research. He's just asking that you give him a shot and let him be part of the conversation. And then he and his team will show you exactly what they can do for you and why they can give you the best mortgage moving forward. It's Buford Lending, 843-524-2404. Benji Getze and Buford Lending, my broker, your broker, and South Carolina's mortgage broker. Yeah, some good ones coming in on the fans, huh?
Yeah, the high five guy.
No doubt.
That looks so dumb.
Didn't like it?
No, I like the idea, but it looks dumb when it's on a jersey and you see the hat and different.
Wait, did you just pull that one up, by the way?
Yeah. I have a little bit of power here now.
Are you still signed in under me?
I just opened it up. I just opened up my email account.
So I guess we could both be signed in at the same time? Interesting. Into my
change the graphics.
Okay, but we'll scroll.
I have a little bit of. I can't change certain things. I don't think I can change like the layouts. Oh yeah, maybe I can.
Yeah, you can.
Well, all right.
Can I mute Bill? Yeah.
Nice. We can have a producer battle on the live stream.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, take that, Patrick. He's gone. He's back.
Yeah, I was thinking like this thing was in the way. I was like, wait, maybe I should change the graphic or.
Yeah, you popped in the logo up top. Nice work.
No, the logo up top was what I was trying to. I was like, I kind of need to move the hand away.
Oh, yeah, because of the whiteboard? Yeah, we can do that. There you go. Clean here. Yeah, that's no good.
Something's always blocking somebody.
Yeah, let's see. Does Anthony? Oh, that almost works with Anthony there.
Oh yeah, that actually should be up there.
I love that. It says Anthony from Kershaw because he sponsored Patrick's whiteboard.
Now I need to get a green screen sponsored.
A green screen?
Yeah.
How much does one of those cost?
I'm saying $30. You can get one for $30. It's just it's not. There's nothing to it really.
Yeah. You could put up green poster board behind you, Bill, and that's how much it would cost.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why is it green? Why is green the color that works for it?
Yeah, great question. I think because it's not worn that much. Because if you're in color, then you kind of you blend in.
Oh yeah, because I have seen people. You can wear like that color, and then you're floating head, right?
Right.
Right.
I got my map frame the other day. I had it hanging on the wall. It was gonna be nice for the background, but it just completely broke a thumbtack in half. I can't hang anything on my walls. Is this third in the dirt guy behind every pitch? Is that the same as the get in the hole guy? Pretty
Yeah.
much, yeah. I also, Sonny would love some explanation on this. I was much more excited in 2018 than I was this year.
I don't know if I'm excited about. I mean, like, I don't have a great expectation for the season, but
2018 off an Outback Bowl. Everybody's back. I think you have the best wide receiving group in the country.
I'm excited for a new staff. I think there's a difference. I think you can be excited, like he's saying, but not have high expectations. I think your expectations were higher.
But he says for a football upcoming season.
Well, I mean, maybe he's excited to see him.
All right, about to head back in.
Hey, let's do Kingston number 2, please.
Season 2.
So need to get out at 40 after here to do our grill, Bill.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And we do have callers here, Jen. Is that right?
We do.
Who we got?
AJ?
Just AJ. Got it.
We got Box Pro. We got. Five.
Carolina coach Mark Kingston after taking 2 out of 3 against Missouri over the weekend, where home field advantage and hecklers, appropriate behavior from stadium personnel has all come up this weekend. And the game was actually delayed a little bit yesterday, right in the 8th inning, I believe it was. And again, not a close game. It's 8-4 at the time. Missouri players, I think, taking issue with some of the fans there, asking the umpires to step in, or the umpires feeling like they needed to step in. And I don't think anyone objected from that one, but there was stadium personnel at least moving Carolina students, and Dale called us earlier and said that, well, that's just because you're not supposed to sit on the first row of bleachers there, or the first row of seats because of COVID stuff. I think, Bill, this is a combination of a bunch of stuff. First of all, if you only have 25% capacity, fans can be heard a lot clearer now. You almost have a more direct path to players because there are fewer fans there. Also, I think we're all a little more sensitive now as we sit here today on April, what's today's date? The 12th, April 12th, 2021, than we have ever been, as far as just because of what we've all been through. And I would think probably athletes maybe more than any. I know we just heard from former Gamecock player, Golden Spikes Award winner Kip Bachnight about his experiences back in the day and going to play at tough places in the SEC. But he and any players before and right now didn't go through a year where their season got shut down after 16 games. And now you've got to do so much testing, and there's so many protocols involved from the last year. It's hard for me to put myself in current players' positions. And I would think you do have an opportunity as a fan to get in guys' heads, if not more than in years past, then you definitely can do it differently these days. And I just think all of our sensitivity levels are up a little bit in 2021 because of everything we've all been through the last year plus. Am I off board here, or are you with me on this? I think Jen is nodding her head, and Bill, you seem to be wanting to shake your head. Not so much.
I think you're 100% right. I think it's not just in sports. I think it's everything, life in general. People are very sensitive these days, and you have to be very careful in talking with people in certain ways. In sports, look, it's supposed to be a relief and it's supposed to be fun, and there's an element of heckling or trash talk, whatever you want to label it, that is part of sports to some degree. I'm not out there. I felt like Kip was going to tell us that his 9-year-old team is head, and he might have said that. Did I catch that? That he said there's heckling in the 9-year-old youth baseball. Did I catch?
That's what I heard.
Yeah. So I'm not out heckling the 9 and 10-year-old soccer players that are the opposing team. But
screaming yesterday. One of the most overrated movies ever.
I might or might not wear the jumpsuit, but I don't yell at the opposing team. But with that being said,
just your own kids.
Just my awesome team, just awesome. No, I think I think you're 100% right. I think there's a sensitivity level right now that we as a society have reached, and are pretty quick to fire back or get upset if somebody says something you don't like.
Let's hear what AJ's got to say about Love Shack phone lines, 803-404-6100. Morning, sir. I think we're doing pretty well. I'm glad to be back for sure after having last week off. What about you, sir? Oh, boy.
Pretty.
I don't think we hear about it. I'm sure it is discussed. AJ, ladies and gentlemen. in all his glory there. I think there are horror stories from people who have come into Columbia as well. I'm trying to think who we were talking about. Maybe it was.
I was thinking of Drew Lock.
Locke.
Yeah, they threw the bomb.
I was thinking about Will Friend, actually, in his brief, 3-day stint as a Gamecock coach. He did meet the media one time and was talking about coming in as an opposing coach and how it's an intimidating place to play from the opposing sideline perspective.
I think it gets talked about at other schools.
Oh, it definitely does. And this is the classic Dennis Rodman conversation, I feel like. This is, if you got Dennis Rodman on your team, you love having him on your team. If he's on anybody else's team, that guy is the devil incarnate, right? And if it's your crowd, it's home field advantage. Everything's fair. It's all you guys. Have you ever heard your crowd? Your crowd is the bad one. You're the guys that cross the line. It's in Baton Rouge that has the bad crowd. No, it's in Athens that has the bad crowd. And they're the ones coming right back and saying, no, if they had one bad experience somewhere else, it's there. The interesting part to me is the end there, Bill, that for whatever reason, it's South Carolina and Missouri have developed a natural rivalry. Maybe it's the Columbia thing. I don't know. But when the games haven't done it, because I don't remember the USC women's basketball game being that close or that a close call coming down the stretch and a controversial deal. And this is not Braves and Phillies last night where you got a guy touching the plate on the field. It's called safe. They go to replay. And I get that rivalries come out of that and they're hurt feelings. And that's natural. I said a natural rivalry. This is kind of come outside of that for multiple reasons. You just feel like the two schools don't like each other very much, and there's a history being built upon now that came out of this weekend on the baseball field. Do you have any explanation for why it would be Carolina and Missouri that are going after each other?
You know what? I'm going to take a long shot, and I'm going to brag on Carolina fans. Let me go back real quick to the year because it was early in the season, and I feel like South Carolina introduced Missouri to the SEC. I think Missouri had a home game against Georgia the first year Missouri came to the SEC. I'm going back. Was it, Tim, off the top of your head? Connor Shaw was playing. Was it maybe 2012, I believe? I'm going to go back and look. Missouri came to Columbia, and South Carolina throttled them. And really, honestly, South Carolina didn't play good. But it was a 3:30 CBS game, and South Carolina just wore out Missouri that day. Connor Shaw had an 80-yard touchdown run that got called back. Yeah, it was 31-10 that day. And South Carolina
Franklin, their quarterback that day, is that right?
Yep, and South Carolina really should have scored 50. There was some fumbles late in the game. It was kind of but I only say this because I remember being in the stadium that day and watching the demeanor of the Missouri players. And look, I get it. Oklahoma's, I'm sure, a really good home field advantage. I've never been to Norman. I'm sure that there are good. I would say maybe I don't know. Now that I say it out loud, guys, real quick, in the Big 12, Oklahoma and Texas, and then I've never heard of Ames, Iowa, or Manhattan, Kansas, or Waco, Texas being home field advantages. Would you guys agree with this?
Correct.
Love it.
Ames is just a boring place. So
Yeah, there you go. See, right there. So Missouri,
Isn't it?
Yeah, Stillwater's pretty good.
Stillwater pretty good.
It's so small. It's only like 50,000.
So they came that year. Missouri's first in the SEC. They played Southeastern Louisiana. They lost to Georgia in Columbia, Missouri. Played Arizona State, and I just think from there because it was that crowd that day was packed. It was hot. South Carolina was rolling at that time. That was peak Spurrier's days. I mean, again, South Carolina that particular day just beat Missouri all over the field. It should have been a lot worse than it was. Matter of fact, Connor Shaw that day against Missouri, 20 of 21 for 249 yards, 2 touchdowns. Lattimore ran 21 times for 85 yards. It was a beating. Missouri scored with 17 seconds left in the game to make it 31-10. But I just think from there, man, Missouri might have looked at it and been like, wow, we got a long way to go to catch up. And then the fact that these two teams in basketball usually play each other twice. Baseball, you've always got the series given that they're in the same division. There's a lot of games between these two programs and time to form a little bit of a relationship and a rivalry.
Didn't Missouri win the SEC East like the next year?
The next 2 years, or the next year, definitely
Right.
the next
So I
year.
don't think they lost that game and were like, oh man, we got a long way to go, because they were immediately
I'll tell you though,
in the next 2 years did more than Carolina's ever done.
I understand what you're saying, but and an anonymous texter brings up what I think really started it on the South Carolina side was the Dawn Staley thing, and they had that player who was the girl that they had that played there that nobody liked.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
Sophie Cunningham.
Yeah.
I don't know where that came from in my brain, by the way.
that was
Quite the pull.
so yeah, that was out of left field. But no, I just Patrick, that day was different. That was peak South Carolina. I think later that year was the Georgia game that you had. Was it Herb Street? Who was it? Tim or they were doing the Musburger. Yeah, that's right. It was on ESPN, and they were talking about the crowd and the booth shaking and everything. I mean, that right there, 2012 was peak Spurrier, and Williams Bryce was a really good video. I can promise you this, because remember those Georgia players walked out being like, man, I don't know about those South Carolina fans.
Yeah. Todd Gurley called it the most intimidating environment or whatever he did there.
Yeah. I mean, that was, and there was nobody talking about it on Sports Talk Radio. Man, South Carolina fans might have crossed the line in that Georgia game, the way they treated those Georgia players. So I don't think it's just kind of a random thing, and I don't think it's that big a deal. It'll get corrected and move forward.
We'll see what kind of random questions Bill gets. Our Grill Bill contestant today is Brody. He is waiting patiently. He will be on center stage when we come back. Let you hear a word from Carolina baseball coach Mark Kingston as well about the weekend and taking 2 out of 3 from Missouri. It's the early game here. It's 107.5.
I actually had to use the air conditioner this weekend. That's right. Made sure with AAA heating and air that was working a few weeks ago. So when I turned it on this weekend, get a little air in the house, I was confident that my house would be comfortable. I'd be able to relax. You need to do the same. Warmer temperatures are coming. And if you're not sure about your air conditioner, now's the time to get it checked out. Give Roy and Dana with AAA heating and air a call. Reason I use them, family run business. I can trust them. I believe in them. The way they treat me, the way they treat other customers. Find out for yourself. Don't just take my word for it. Find out for yourself. You will not be disappointed. 803-677-1500. That phone number again, 803-677-1500. Also, if they come out, they check out your unit, you got an issue, you got to get a new one, that's scary. It can cost a lot of money, not with AAA heating and air. They will pay you $1,500 to take away your old unit and then work with you. 0% financing and no money down on a new unit. That's the kind of family-run business that you can trust, that you can believe in. Heating and air, pretty important. Around here, summers, if you've been in this town, you know they get pretty warm. You want that air unit working. During the winter, it gets a little cold. Want to make sure the heating unit is working. Don't mess around. Use a great family-run business like AAA Heating and Air. 803-677-1500. Give them a phone call today and tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
That's a great board that Patrick's got working there. I think
You add Likes to Fight guy?
We need to revisit this in the summer.
Yeah, we do.
I'll be right back here, just pressing some buttons.
Okay.
Likes to fight guy.
I don't think any of us like that guy though.
But doesn't likes to fight guy always just end up fighting another likes to fight guy, and they kind of just do their thing?
They cancel each other out?
Yeah, I mean, I like watching people get in fights, personally.
Yeah.
It's entertaining. Everybody likes to watch people get in fights. Anytime there's a fight in public, everyone just immediately gravitates towards
Let me
it.
double check them. Hey guys, who was the Missouri female player that was the thug?
Sophie Cunningham.
That's it. Thank you.
Good pull, Bill.
Yeah, well, thankfully Tim got. I was never gonna.
I was never gonna get that name in a million years.
No, I had no chance.
I can picture her.
I had zero chance of landing that one.
Get out of that spot, the top left. So I can feel good that my one contribution to the show today.
Sophie Cunningham.
Oh, good question, Craig. We made it the entire way on Friday, meaning we had planned a stop on the other side of Raleigh. It was an amazing first run, and then the kids got sick, and it went downhill from there. That was pretty much the highlight of the trip. Jim, working on the audio, my friend. I got it to where you could hear, I think, the program. It's just not right. I think it just needs to be tweaked. So hopefully we can get that ironed out soon.
Well, it just needs to be cranked up in the producer's room.
No, I know, but I mean, we can have it sounding actually professional from our program audio. Oh, how many hours? I think that was like 5+ that we did without stopping with the baby.
One more.
Yeah, it's a heck of a run.
Heck of a run.
Heck of a
At
run.
some point, don't you, the dad, just become too invested? You're like, we can just keep going. We can set a record.
Yeah, no.
No, you don't do that.
That on the way home. We made it all the way home. 7.5 hours, I think, from the Outer Banks to the South Carolina state line. So ridiculous.
Well, you had to stop for gas at some point, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and the trip back, it was multiple stops for multiple reasons.
Gotcha. Oh, by the way, we have not mentioned South Carolina won a national championship over the weekend. I can't believe
The
you guys.
Carolina girls, huh?
That's right.
Now we have.
All right.
We're all making great contributions. We're back.
Jen, let's give Mark Kingston number 1 here.
Okay.
I've seen it too many times. It's happened a number of times, and the team has been challenged in one way or another, emotionally, and we always seem to respond. And I think that just speaks to the character of the player.
5.
It's great to see.
Carolina head baseball coach Mark Kingston after his team's 5-run explosion there in the 8th inning, right after a stoppage in play because Missouri fans were not happy with Missouri players were not happy with Gamecock fans, and that's been a large part of our discussion this morning in a lot of different ways. And it has Patrick on his whiteboard with a list of fans. You haven't added the other ones suggested on the text line there. High five guy. Was that coming from? I forget who suggested that one. That's a great one.
That was the perfect one, especially because when he goes out of his way and reaches over people to high five, that's just
Trips on a seat, trips into somebody. Usually he's got a cup of some kind of beverage that gets spilled on 2 or 3 people. I've just seen that.
I'm trying to get it exactly how it was said because it included some all caps, "Don't touch me." That was Sammy, the high fiver that sits like 3 rows below you, reaches over 8 people to high five everyone within reach. Don't touch me, man. I love it. Cocky Cadre admitting that he's been accused of being all these kinds of fans, all the bad ones that you got going there. Another one just popped up. Yeah, the likes to fight guy I think he's usually also the drunk guy. That's why I would vote for a belligerent drunk guy as my worst fan. And Patrick, you've got know-it-all guy at the top. I think it says a lot about us, actually, as people, how we would rank these guys. We'll get into this fan conversation in more depth. Yeah. I think probably maybe come June or July when we have less to talk about. Also, when we don't have a guest waiting patiently on the Love Chevy phone lines. Brody's up. It's time for Grill Bill. Every Monday at about this time in the next couple of weeks, we're going to have this segment, Grill Bill. Now, a few months ago, we did this with the South Carolina Pork Board and Grill Heath, where you get to go to our website, 1075thegame.com, check out the contest tab, and submit some questions in there. And we don't tell Bill, we didn't tell Heath what they're going to be, but the best ones get selected, and you get to make things a little uncomfortable. You also get a $50 gift card from IGA to buy some South Carolina pork there, Brody. So congratulations on that. You're also qualified to win the grand prize, the Camp Chef Pellet Grill, worth more than $1,000. So congratulations, and thanks for joining us this morning, Brody. I'll get out of the way. It's all yours.
Hey, guys, thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah.
All right, Bill, we'll start with an easier one for you. As a kid, what was the sport that you most wanted to go pro in? And was there a specific incident or time when you realized that you were not professional?
Well done, Seth. Well done.
I had a weird dream. I had a weird idea. I was pretty in about middle school, coming out of probably about 5th or 6th grade. I saw the Pete Maravich movie where he dribbled a basketball all over town. And so I lived within walking distance of Lexington Middle School. So I would dribble a basketball to Lexington Middle School at home. And I realized, I guess, kind of quickly, NBA probably wasn't going to be the right direction for me. But I thought I had a great chance to go to Europe and play overseas. It was like I gave up on the NBA, but I was like, man, I can go to Europe and make money over there. So like that became my goal. And I think in 9th grade, I sat the bench for about the first 4 games for Joey Lawson on the middle school team. I was like, I don't think I'm going to make it to Europe either. I think I better just move on to something else.
All right, very good. Well, in honor of WrestleMania this weekend, I'm not a big wrestling fan, but I know you are. What would your pro wrestling name be, and why is it the Bourbon Glaze Bandito?
Well, wait a minute. Are you giving me the name, or are you?
Absolutely, that's a fantastic one. Bourbon Glaze
Bandito. I will say, growing up, I was a huge Sting fan, so that would mean I'd go with the longer pants. I wouldn't go with the Speedo. Maybe a bottle. Sting had the little scorpion on the side of his leg. I could do that. I could probably do that. Have a little bit of the kind of face paint there and spike the hair, maybe grow the hair out a little bit and go that direction. And why would it be? Because that's just, you come out. Maybe it's an alternate personality of what was the guy who crashed the beers? Who was the guy who smacked the beers together? Patrick and
Stone Cold?
Stone Cold, yeah, Stone Cold Steve Austin. So it'd be kind of similar.
All right, so moving on. How old were you when they stopped automatically handing you the kids menu at the restaurant? And then what is your favorite local restaurant?
38, man. They still haven't done that. Although the beard, I got carded. I got carded before I went on Friday. Before I went to the Top Golf. I was down at a restaurant downtown, and went there. And so I would still say I'm 38. I'll be 39 in a few weeks. I would still say that's still happening. Favorite restaurant? There's a lot. Obviously, I was texting with our buddy Brian Glenn over the weekend. I was supposed to go to Village Idiot. I didn't make it. Had a little bit too much of a good time. I didn't, and got back to Lexington. But obviously, Village Idiot's always good. A good buddy of mine, Steve Cook at Saluda's, has always got great food. And of course, in Lexington, I'm always over at LJ's Bar and Grill. Trent Jeffcoat was there yesterday doing the best mediocre country music of anywhere here in Lexington.
I also spent a number of days down at Village Idiot.
Yeah.
5 points.
Attaboy, Brody.
Quickly, have you ever actually caught a fish?
45.
What fish was this? And can you please post a picture to Twitter for evidence?
We got pictures. I'll get the pictures up. We've caught all kinds of fish. Have not caught one this year, Brody. I am over as we enter the middle of April. I don't think there's any fish in this lake left, but I'll find the picture from last year. I think the Lake Murray's completely out of fish. I saw my neighbor Wayne Smith catch a catfish, and I saw somebody out front catch a striper. That was the 2 fish left, and they're gone.
Brody, fantastic performance. Patrick, what do you rate that 1 through 10?
That was a 10. That's the best. Those 2 weeks we've done better than any girl heat ever.
I agree.
Go to 1075thegame.com. You can register. Thanks to South Carolina Pork Board for sponsoring Grill Bill. Thank you for listening to the Earth.
Okay. That was really good.
Atta boy, Brody.
Good job. Yeah, that's been 2 really good ones.
Poor heat.
People just get our show.
Well done. Well done. All right. Great to be back. Nice list there, Patrick. You gotta keep that list. We'll definitely visit that.
What are we? 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks left now? Yeah. 17 days.
15 subscribers. Nice. You guys got some good ones, huh?
Yep, we got over 700. We're pushing that. The drive to 800 starts.
Subscribe or die. Thanks, Anthony. Appreciate you guys tuning in this morning. We need to knock something out work-wise. You guys got any final words for the live streamers?
No. All season, all more.
Don't eat
Thanks,
yellow.
guys.
You and